Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Parallel Killer, part two, the final episode of our two-parter. I was gonna say two-part one show, one shot, but that would make no sense.
Two shot.
A
Two
two-shot,
shot.
our two-shatter. Hopefully you've all been doing well. It's been a crazy, crazy time zone week, right? Like everyone's like,
has.
what time is what? Well, we're here. We're live. Everyone made it on time. See, this is the nice one though, because if you show up early, it's okay.
You're still good, yeah.
Yeah. The other way
it's when
around.
fall comes
sucks.
around. It's like, oh, I gotta wake up earlier.
Yeah. Is everyone coping well with losing an hour? I'm not.
No, I have been going to bed late and waking up like right when I have to start work. It's really bad.
Oh, no.
The beauty of work from home, though, right now.
It's
right?
true. I can just kind of
Yeah.
roll out of bed and don't
You're
have
like,
to.
Turn
No
on
one knows-
computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what kind of pants you're wearing. It's fine.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that all too well.
Mhm.
Well, before we
It's like
get
the mullet, right? Mullet's
Mhm.
like business in front, part in the back, and this is
Yep.
like business up top, and then just like
And
sweats on
then
the bottom.
sweatpants on the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like
exactly.
literally what's happening right now.
I was
Sweatpants
gonna
crew.
say- I was gonna say same.
But of course, before we get into actually finding out what happens this episode, we need to do a little bit of, announcements and chilling. So first and foremost, the time zone weirdness will continue for one more week. We apologize. We'll let you guys know as things change what is happening, but everything should be coming back to normal on the 28th of March. We have our NPC names post out. Put some names in there. I looked, there's no names. Add your names, homies. And then, of course, Ascension Tower Floor GM notes are coming. So if you checked out our last episode, which is this Thursday, it was a doozy. I was like, gonna poop my pants. So, if you're into that, go check it out.
Okay.
It's a nail biter for sure. And of course, Mass Effect Mercs Chapter 2 is coming soon. So we announced that on Thursday as well. We'll be kind of giving you guys reminders of it as we get closer. And I think beyond that, of course, if you would like access to all of those lovely Patreon goodies, you can head on over to patreon.com/roll4, where you not only support all of these lovely cast members and allow us to do the thing we love and tell great stories, but you also get rewards in return. And then, of course, beyond that, if you'd like to continue supporting us in other ways, there is Twitch right here if you want to subscribe to us, and you get access to the videos in advance as well as the emotes. And if you'd like the emotes over on YouTube, you can become a YouTube member where you get access to those. And we always upload all of our videos over to YouTube within, well, at least around 24 hours, pending Twitch doesn't break on us. And of course, if you are a Discord member, Patreon, a Discord, or I keep saying Discord, Twitch subscriber, YouTube member, you can join our Discord. That's where I was going with the Discord thing. And get access to private channels where we have cast members who chat with you. It's a lot of fun. And we also have a lot of RP stuff and goodies over there, so check it out. Beyond that, we know not everybody can support us on a monetary means, and that's 100% a-okay. Take care of yourself first and foremost. But there are a lot of free ways to support us by being here, watching live on Twitch. That supports us in a major way. And of course, watching on YouTube, leaving us comments on all of our social platforms, whether that's YouTube, on right here, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of those things. Liking, sharing, retweeting. Those are all really easy, free ways to support us. It might seem strange. Like you might be like, I don't have very many followers. Why should I retweet? It does. The algorithms, homie. Yeah. If these detectives were looking into algorithms, it'd be a whole nother thing. Maybe they are. They kind of are, actually.
Yes, it's all an internet zeitgeist. That's what it is, like some kind of weird. Yeah, I've cracked the case. It's done.
Yep. You figured it out. Agatha killing it. Okay. Without further ado, we're going to start up today's episode of The Parallel Killer. I get some music in here. Last episode, Dr. Orlando Colon and Elena had a little water cooler conversation in which it ended with Elena agreeing to assist Orlando in finding folks for his trivia night. Dr. Colon received a work request that was placed at highest priority and also was classified, in which he was able to convince Carlos to join his trivia night as well. Meanwhile, Agatha and Avery were having a very serious conversation about Avery's podcasting career and how to increase his viewership when Agatha had a premonition. Avery sent the details of this premonition to his friend Orlando MG via text. Orlando received this text message and noticed that the message kind of coincided with the body that he found, in which Elena joined at Orlando's request in kind of like a viewing box. The two of them realized that, well, Elena realized that Dr. Colon was having some strange feelings. And as they were driving to I can't remember, what did I name I'm trying to remember the name of the bar.
The Output Lounge?
Ah, there we go. I was like, is it my other notes? As they were driving to the Output Lounge, kind of mentioned this to Orlando, and they had a bit of a conversation regarding it. And Agatha and Avery arrived at this place a little earlier, in which they had a bit of a conversation, talking about each of the different people that were joining them shortly. And then we had an awkward bar scene where all four of them were there, in which Dr. Colon did not realize that Elena had already known Avery and thought she was being uncomfortable because she didn't know the other two people, but it ended up that she did know Avery, and clearly there was some drama there. But they still don't know what that drama is. The four of them then began to discuss things that they probably shouldn't have together because two of them are under NDA, but they didn't care. And they told these two people this stuff. And they talked about what they had seen. And the four of them were trying to figure out who had done it. They came up with quite a few different clues, and a bunch of different leads. And so the four of them had decided that they would, after trivia night, figure out how to resolve those. And during trivia night, they actually had a good turnout. There was like 7 of them. It was like Avery and Dr. Colon's first time having other people other than the two of them at trivia night. And they won. It was great. It was fantastic. Everyone had a wonderful night. Maybe not. Dr. Colon decided to, I think you drove Elena home? Is that correct?
I drove Elena back to her car.
Yeah, Elena back to her car. And Elena headed out for the night with a few of her lady friends and asked some of them, because they're all college students as well, or some of them were college students, asked them if they had known the volleyball team at the DePaul University, which was Lisa Bath's college. And none of them seemed to really have any details other than that Lisa was a nice girl. She's quiet. Not like the other volleyball team members necessarily, but they didn't know her. Avery did a lot of internet searching and tried to find out some information, got some interesting clues, looked up some Facebook information as well. And Dr. Colon and him were sending text messages back together. I think A-Dog and Orlando MG. So we just see these text messages going back between them with research in mind. And they got a few different hits and clues there. Meanwhile, Agatha Smith decided to call up her witch friend, and she came over, in which she showed her an image on like Instagram, I think, of the girl with the tattoo, and or Lisa, I should say, not just the girl. And her friend did what seemed like some kind of weird ritual, seance, spell. Who knows? Most people would be like, what the hell's happening? But Agatha just watched quietly for 5 minutes and waited. And it turns out that her lovely witch friend said there was definitely a fire involved, which Agatha was like theorizing what that could mean. and maybe it was a metaphorical thing, but her friend reassured her, no, there was definitely a fire. And the two of them just hung out and read occult books and tried to help figure out the mystery again. Noting again that Agatha has shared all of the information that was under NDA that Elena and Dr. Cologne probably shouldn't have shared to another party. And that is not quite where we ended the episode.
And
Agatha
it wasn't
then-
even trivia night. I mean, there wasn't even the trivia night to,
Agatha then went to bed. All of our cast members went to bed. But Agatha was awoken by an entity of some sort. It looked like Lisa Beth's body, and walked her to the door, which she then opened the door, and it was not her living room. It was another room, someone else's living room with another dead body, but it wasn't Lisa Beth's body. Once the premonition had ended, Agatha immediately went to the phone and called up Avery. And that is where we're going to start today's episode. We see Avery, describe to us what your place looks like as you're sleeping. Grant's got to get like
I gotta
into it.
get
Getting character.
Yeah, getting character. Go, go.
He's woken and he's been up. All right.
I think some people were a bit tipsy for sure after the trivia night.
Avery leases the basement out of an old restaurant. His mom had to call in some favors to some old family friends, if you will, in Chicago, and they're like, well, my son needs a place to live. It's got to have a solid internet connection. And it's like, can't promise you that, but he might be able to drill a hole in a wall and run a cable and maybe borrow some from time to time from one of the local campuses. So he leases a space. In fact, it's still a restaurant basement, but they've taken some painter's tape to draw off a square for him where he can keep his belongings. Highly unorthodox, but in these troubled times where funds are tight, it's the best he could do in the Windy City.
Hey, at least you're sleeping inside a building, right?
Yeah, you got
Chicago gets
indoor-
cold,
you got
man.
Indoor space, yeah.
Yeah.
The basement gets cold. They don't heat down here.
Aw.
But Avery, it's actually kind of like a cozy spot, though. It's one of those things you might not be able to afford a great place, but you can definitely carve yourself out a nice corner. And he has beaded curtains around it.
Is this where
So
he
he
records
really
his
wants-
podcast?
He edits the podcast. They don't let him in the studio because he normally chimes in his opinions on the cases.
Oh, okay.
And he is not talent, he is technical.
I see. Okay. So you're not actually
I'm
on the
working on
podcast. You're like behind the scenes.
No.
Okay. Production. Okay.
They would never let me in. But I'm working on it. So
It's like that kid
yeah.
gif with like that she's crying and she's like hitting the glass. Oh.
literally on the inside, on the outside stoicism. But yeah, Avery fumbles for his I guess this is 2018, his Pixel 3, and he gets it XL. It's large, flubby fingers. And then he gets it up. Hello.
Oh no, you don't have a
He's-
phone call yet. I just was asking you what
Okay,
your place looked
sorry.
like.
He still answers. Hello, no one. My old
Hello?
friend.
Is it me you're looking for? All right, cool. Yeah, we see this damp and dark living room. And actually, Avery, before you receive a phone call, the building gets really cold for a moment, and you are sleeping, and you're kind of having a little bit of a strange dream, and you just feel like this chill down your spine, and you awaken. But at the same time as you awaken, you hear your phone ringing.
Stumble. I'm just gonna kind of blindly swipe open and be like, Avery Cohen, freelance podcaster. I'm not even gonna look at who it is, and I'm just gonna go right into my sales pitch. You send them, I cut them, mix them,
Avery.
sweeten the.
Avery, it's
Aggie?
me. There's another body. I don't know where, but it's a man. It was a man this time, right, Maggie? I'm not crazy.
Yes, it was a man this time.
It's a man this time. Uh, Same kind of thing. Lisa showed me to it. Uh,
It's one of those things I'm kind of like tasting the night before in my mouth as I'm pawing around for my Agatha journal, which isn't next to me.
Oh yeah, your
So
mouth
I'm
is
just gonna
dry. It has like when you drink too much, it's just like yeah, your head's a little hurting.
paying for my sins. And like it's one of those things where since I can't find my Agatha journal, I'm just going to kind of blindly pull my metal cord to get my overhead lamp on, and I'm going to crack open, just kind of squeeze a dry erase marker. It's probably even a wet erase, and I'm going to go to the dry erase board because it's the only thing I had, and I'm going to start sketching on the dry erase board with the wet erase marker. Just kind of like, all right, how did he look? Was he face down, face up, rented to?
Same position as Lisa was in. The organs all separated to one side. I didn't really get a view of the process this time. Just the results.
Was there a triangle? And I just draw over the body a triangle with a question mark or another symbol. Did you see?
There's a moment of silent, like quiet on the other end. There's like a like a static. Like she's trying to think of what she remembers from the body or the like brief vision that she had. That I mean, for her are always these like weird waking dreams. So like the details sort of go in and out. I think like fairly frequently.
Yeah, you don't remember a tattoo this time.
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything like that.
But your concentration
sure-
wasn't necessarily on that.
I'm not sure how he could relate to Lisa either, but she led me over to him.
Lisa was there.
She woke me up and pointed me in the direction of the living room.
How did she look? Did she say anything? Was she clothed? Was she nude?
She didn't say anything. She looked like she would have if she were alive. I think no clothes, but
and you don't know of any of the surroundings, but my assumption is this body's going to show up at the morgue. With that said, if it's not going to show up at the morgue, we're going to have to try to discern what we know about the killer and find Mr. X. Or John Doe, that's what they call him in the biz, John Doe. John Doe 1.
I just thought I should tell you as soon as possible.
No, I appreciate that. Obviously, you call, I answer. Having a wretched dream as well. It's cold down here, unearthly cold. Space heater and electric blanket did nothing.
Is the building haunted? She asks, having a new question now. The random cold is like a big spirit energy thing.
Yeah. It's just all buildings are haunted. It's just a matter of when and how it manifests.
Fair enough. I hope it's not related to our investigation.
I'm gonna start to feel suspicious. Am I alone in my space or is someone in here? I'm gonna kind of dart my eyes around. I'm starting to think.
Yeah, you look around. Let me see. I gotta check if you have.
I fumble for my glasses and get them on like that way.
You don't notice anything. You don't see anything. You did wake up in a chill, like a shaking
Yeah.
chill. You know, like when you have a chill down your spine, and at the same time as you woke, the phone was ringing. Perhaps you awoke because of the phone ringing.
Do you want to meet up now? Would it feel better if we talked about this in person, or is this something you think should wait till morning?
I mean, I don't think I'll be sleeping again soon. So if you're awake, then we could meet up.
Yeah.
We can't really do anything, I don't think, until we see the files from the station. But
It's fair.
I'm feeling a little alone here.
Avery, though,
Same.
do roll
Vulner-
me a sense trouble.
All right.
It seems like you have 2 points, so you can decide if you want to. Again, for those of you back home, if you're interested in how this works, they roll 1d6 and they can add points from their general abilities. This uses up their pool. Their pool does refresh over certain time frames.
Yeah.
It
so
won't be
I'm actually
refreshing
doing
for this.
totally okay, and that's in typical Grand Ellis Gumshoe fashion. Burn all the points. So I'm gonna burn 2 points,
Alright.
and roll my d6,
Puts you
and
at
so I got a
0
4.
out of 2. Ooh, okay. For a moment, you do feel something as you both are trying to meet up or kind of plan your meeting. You see a shadow scatter across the. It's like stone, right? It's a stone basement. It's got kind of
Yeah.
like stone vibe, yeah. Across the stone, and it sounds like something runs up the stairs.
Still on the phone, or am I still on the phone, or did our call end?
It's up to you two.
Okay, I'm still on the phone. I'm gonna kind of fumble, swipe down, and hit the flashlight button. I'm kind of gonna be coming around and I'll be like, rats, cats, bats. That's not an incantation, Aggie. I'm not a practitioner of magic, but something's
No,
down here. I'm kind of
She-
gonna be
she's
fumbling
like,
around.
She's like, no, it's not an incantation. You're right. But so something's with you, or
Yeah, I think a cat's got down here again, and so I'm gonna. I have. Do I have a preparedness? Because I want to kind of. This
Yeah,
is a waste. Of
You could use a point of
preparedness.
preparedness. What would you like to have on you?
Well, I was just gonna reach for like a a wet mop or something. It's like I need something to defend myself. I'm not a practitioner of bow staffs or nunchucks or anything like that. I would probably have my good old cat chasing mop if they get down here to scoot them away. So it's like I'm essentially, it's like I got to get something to keep some distance between it and myself, because I don't want to get
Yeah,
bit.
you find one and you snag it. I've removed one of
Yeah.
your points.
And I'm kind of flipped down to flashlight mode. I'm kind of stumbling my way to the stairs. I guess I'm still in my boxers and my Burning Man t-shirt, and like making my way to the steps. And I want to kind of investigate. Can I get light on whatever was scurrying around? If it's gone, it's gone.
You can't quite get light on what was scurrying around, but you did hear something on the staircase, and as you shine the light on it, no longer do you see shadows other than your own shadow kind of projecting onto the stairway, but you slowly make your way up the stairs. Are you trying to be quiet?
I would like to say yes, but putting myself in the position is kind of one of that waking up from a sleep stompy quiet. In fact, I'm not. I'm kind of making my presence known, where it's like, I warn you, you will find me a dour enemy. This is my space. I pay for it. Might be a little behind on my payments, but we have an agreement.
As you
I'm
walk up
issuing
the
a challenge.
stairs, it starts getting colder almost. You kind of make this comment out to whoever might be listening, or perhaps you're hoping there's no one there. Is Agatha still on the phone?
yeah, I think like worriedly on the other end of the line, like waiting for Avery to resolve whatever is going on. She hears sort of like the vague echoes of this, distantly spoken conversation while the phone is being used as a flashlight.
Agatha, as you're holding on the phone, listening intensely to your friend Avery, who said there's maybe like a cat or something, but maybe you notice that there's a little bit more tension in his voice as he says that, and you hear him kind of shouting what he's saying up the staircase. Your eyes roll back into your head, and you see a moment at the top of the staircase, a shadowy figure It looks like they're grinning, but you can't quite tell what their facial features are other than very sharp teeth and darkness. You feel the urge to tell Avery not to go up the stairs.
Yeah, I think there's a moment she has this like gasping vision. I think all of her, like moments of quiet, eyes rolled back in her head, sort of situations take a couple of seconds. But I think as she comes back to herself and she hears Avery on the other end of the phone, she like yells so that Avery would be able to hear it, even if the phone's like not to his ear.
Yeah.
Like, Avery, don't go up the stairs. There's someone up there.
Avery, what do you do?
I'm calling out. I'm calling the cops. That's it. You're done. You're going to jail. This is breaking and entering, trespassing, and my mom's a lawyer, and my
Avery,
best friend
don't-
Elena's a lawyer, and I'm going backwards down the stairs while I'm saying this. I'm kind
Avery,
of going back to my space.
You do go backwards down the stairs, but much faster than you had intended.
Oh no!
Something shoots down from the top of the stairs. The door opens wide. There's a cold breeze that shoots down, and you feel this cold hit you in the chest, almost like someone just sucker punched you right in the chest. You lose your breath. You can't talk. Your phone goes flying off to the side. But if you'd like to spend a point of preparedness, I'll say you kept a hold of your phone.
Absolutely.
Okay. You hold tightly to your phone as you go flying down the staircase, your leg hitting part of the stair, your head hitting side of the wall, and you kind of crumple down at the bottom of the staircase. The door shuts, slam.
Do I hear something in here with me, or has it left me
No.
defeated?
You don't hear anything.
Okay.
Avery,
be-
Avery, you okay? Like voice from the phone, like ignore it or not, as you like. But
See what happens? You claim Elena as a friend, you get thrown down the stairs. As I'm crawling
Avery,
back to
Roll
my
me,
spot.
roll me a stability,
All right.
and also remove 2 points from your health.
Not good. I got a 2 for stability.
Oh no. Take 6 off your stability, and I know that puts you to 0.
Yeah, that's I've played these games before, and I'll probably be suffering some trauma and some awful stuff
Yeah.
for the rest of the session, but it's not the end of the world.
It's dangerous. I was telling you guys, I was like, once you go in combat, it's not.
yeah, no,
It's not. A
No,
fun thing.
and like I totally dig. Like Grant, the player, totally digs it. It's like I should be losing my stability. I should be feeling these feels. With that said,
I feel bad
Poor
picking on you
Avery.
because you are the most muggle of all the rest. So,
yeah.
let's see. All right, so you took 6 off your stability. Make sure you keep
Yeah, I'm
your
done.
max too, so you remember what your max was. Or it was, I think is 5 plus the 1
okay.
because the 1 is the green.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got my health and my stability mixed up.
You're good. Let's see. So, when you have a stability problem, there are some repercussions to this. When you hit 0, you have to roll for us to see which weird trauma you get. What is the thing that you most think about that keeps you stable?
The thing that keeps me most stable is the fact that I do have a place where I can hang my hat at night. My source of stability is Grandma Spence, my grandmother who lives in Chicago.
Okay.
She made it here.
Yeah,
She
you
raised
think
6 kids alone.
you think about your grandmother, and you remember when you were a kid. Maybe one time when she gave you like a sweet in church to keep you quiet or something. You remember unwrapping the wrapping paper, the sound of the crinkling, putting the candy in your mouth. Tasted really good. It's like no one else had these sweets. It was always just something that your grandma had. And as you lay there on the ground, you're remembering that moment. The smell of that candy and the taste of it almost touches the tip of your tongue. All right, and now we're gonna have you roll for what happens next. I believe this is. Here we go.
I go from a delicious Werther's original to, well, losing my mind.
Yeah. I think instead of the candies being in your mouth, you have a moment where it just tastes like disgusting, like something horrible, and you want to spit it out. And so you find yourself kind of coughing and spitting something else. And Agatha, you can hear this coughing and it sounds disgusting. And we'll say, for the time being, you're going to be, you lost how many? 6, right?
Yeah.
You're exposed. You're distracted, shaky, too frazzled to stay on top of everything. And something about this moment just doesn't sit well with you. And the stress is going to result in something going horribly wrong for you. Cool. And I think that you took the damage already, and we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, I think at that point I might be like, Agatha, I gotta go.
Don't and there's a brief protestation at the hanging up. Agatha's already like going to the door, getting her coat on, going to head out to where she knows Avery lives, to try and figure out what's going on. She takes the time to bring her handgun with her as well, just in case, because the occult can solve many things, but sometimes you need a gun. So she brings that along with her just in case, because she's seen this like weird thing, this creature. Not that she expects that it will do anything.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably almost 4 a.m.
Yeah, she knows she's not going back to sleep, so she's gonna head towards where Avery is, and I think probably try and contact one of the others. I don't know which one of you I would have the number of. Probably Orlando, more likely than Elena Miller. So,
and I can imagine that like sometimes you just call me, and I was like, why are you calling me? It's like I meant to say that awkward thing where you somehow got my number, and I was like, oh, and it's always, I imagine it's always just a little bit awkward.
So she doesn't text, she calls because she knows you'll be asleep or what have you, and she's heading out the door, and she calls you.
And it's like what, 3 a.m?
4, yeah.
4 in the morning, almost, yeah. It's like teetering on 4 in the morning. So you're gonna call up Orlando? Yep. Yeah, Orlando, you're sleeping fine, no problems at all. Same with Elena. Maybe a little drunk, So actually, maybe you like pass out. Like when you just pass out even better. Like it's just you're sleeping
even better sleep.
Yeah, you're having even better sleep than you normally do. And your phone rings.
Best sleep because it was like a nice actually, Mai Tai the night before. On
like vibrate, so you hear your phone vibrating on the side of your bedside table. What does it look like in your apartment house?
It's an apartment, and I actually have money now, so it's like it's an apartment that has like, okay, I'm gonna say this. Are you ready? It has 2 bedrooms, and I'm only one person, right? And I don't even have a roommate. Like I know. And I imagine it's one of those things where the apartment, you know when you are a grad student and you buy furniture because now you need it, but you buy furniture which is the cheapest you can get, and so then you have like bookshelves that are different colors. For example, this one might be white, and then this one might be black.
It's too relatable.
And you're no longer a grad student, but you still have your furniture from your grad student days, and so your furniture is not all the same color, and it's mostly from IKEA, and you know how it is. And so it's this kind of a thing where he has money now, but he hasn't really necessarily replaced his old furniture, because you don't replace anything until it actually is dead, right? So there are these kind of mixes of like maybe a really nice couch, but then like the bookshelves are all sort of old and a little bit ratty, and just like stacks and stacks of books from medical school. And I imagine also like in a space where it's actually sort of something nice, he's got like a little super cheap, like $20 sort of a shelf for shoes. And there's all these really sort of amazing shoes. Like the place where he actually spends money is like on his shoes and on things for dancing. And they're like probably posters of like, you know, like Mambo stars from the 50s, sort of in really cheap, what do you call them? Frames, you know, with the plastic. It's not glass. It's not super nice. And I imagine there's probably a lot of takeout sort of boxes on the little shelf in the kitchen sort of bank, the bar of the kitchen. They need to be bagged up, and it gives you the space of somebody who's a bachelor who has not really worked out, who has more money than they actually conceptualize of, right? So they probably just, I don't think that Orlando spends a lot of the money that he makes. It mostly goes to the bank, or he sends it back home to Puerto Rico to his family. But he gives himself those little things that matter to him, which is like just like a little bit for dancing, those just little things. And of course, he has a vinyl record player. He has a stereo setup that has vinyl as well as cassette and CD, and a little spot to put in your iPad.
Perfect.
But it's like he's sort of like high tech for like 7 years ago, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, totally. And you are sleeping pleasantly when you hear on the side table the sound of your phone buzzing against it.
And I probably sort of like reach out and maybe even push my tablet off the bedstand, because I was doing research, and I kind of and I pick up the phone. I'm like, I don't even look to see who it is, and I get my old, you know, ancient iPhone 4S. Dr. Hello? Because it's just that moment. It was like, wait, hello?
Orlando.
Oh.
Something's happened to Avery. I'm headed over to his place now. If you don't hear from me in the next couple of hours, then
No.
something really bad has happened.
Wait. I'll come. I'll be there. I will drive. Do you have? I'll be there. I'll be there. Click. So it gets up, kind of moves very quickly to his bathroom. He's like, oh, I had a lot of pomade in my hair last night. It still works. And then like just sort of like puts on probably like a pair of jeans, t-shirt. What month is it?
It's probably fall, so like November-ish.
November-ish. Puts on like probably like a sweat jacket like from his college days, right? And then make sure he's got everything he needs. Grabs like probably like also like sneakers, like a pair of tennis shoes, and sort of grabs the phone at the last second and rushes to the car, and starts driving over to Avery's immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So the both of you are rushing over there, correct?
And then just texts. Doesn't want to necessarily wake her up in case, but just texts, right? Text Elena saying, something is wrong at Avery's. I'm headed over there. Beat. Don't text and drive. It's fine. And then wait, you probably don't know where he lives. And then text the address.
Oh,
beat,
no.
beat. Unless you do? Question mark. Beat. Don't text and drive. And then stops texting.
You're one of those people who sends 4 messages when you only need to
Yes.
send the one. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Question is, Elena, do you have your phone on like notifications on?
I would probably have notifications on. I usually do sleep with them on at night just in case.
Yeah, you hear a
Ooh.
little buzz.
Probably be like the bloom,
Yeah,
bloom,
little-
bloom, like one of the
Yeah,
because he like
yeah.
sent 4 messages at once.
Yeah.
So
I don't have that sound.
Yeah.
I should get that as a sound. But yeah, you totally get some text messages. 4 of them in a row. And maybe if there was just one, you might not have woken up, but with 4 of them,
it's like what the yeah.
Who's
So
messaging
it
you?
probably
you
yeah
look
like
over at your clock, it's a little after 4 a.m.
usually like this is like a text from like a girlfriend like come pick me up or something like that. But so I just like check and I'm like I look and I see that it's Orlando. What? Something happened? Like trying to process it in my sleepy state.
One more text comes in. Can you feel my feelings from here?
I just text back, I don't think I can. ... Be safe. ... I will try to meet you all because I'm concerned. And
Don't text and
so-
drive.
I'm looking at the address. I think Avery said he lives close to one of the campuses. So I look and I'm like looking on Google Maps and I realize it's actually probably pretty close because Elena also like lives on campus housing. And I'm like, it's probably even within walking distance. So Elena will like kind of roll out of bed. She has a thing like you'll see in her room. She has like dry cleaning like plastics everywhere from all of her suits and things that she's always dressing up. So she tries to dry clean everything.
Is Elena the murderer? She's got a lot of plastic.
I know this is very suspicious, but no, she's a law student and she tries to impress. So even at 4 a.m, she's going to change out of her like lounge pajamas and put on like a button-up shirt and pants and try to head out to meet them and walk over.
All right. As you open up one of the dry cleaner bags and try to put something warmer on and make your way outside, the first person on the scene is going to be Agatha probably. But before we even get to that, what is Avery doing?
Avery would be trying to collect himself since people are coming over. He's going to try to make himself look as presentable as possible. So he's going to slide on a pair of like a warm-up tracksuit or something because
Yeah, you definitely know that hanging up on Agatha means she's gonna show up. Like at this point, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm worried that other people might come in and find me in my state. What I'd like to do is assess any damage and possibly apply some first aid if possible. If I'm
You are
bleeding
not
or-
stable, so really you're not
I'm
you're
good
not in a
then.
mental capacity to figure out like how to heal yourself whatsoever.
I'm tearing open the box of Golden Grams and I'm gonna shuffle a few handfuls in. Probably
I sent
brush
Grant a
my
message.
teeth.
He's shattered and
Yeah.
there's a side effect to that.
Yeah. So the main thing is I'm probably going to I assume we're probably going to have to move here quickly. And this is no longer safe. This is no longer a safe spot. So I'm going to be like piling things into a duffel, just like got to take personal recorder, my hard drive and my laptop. And then
So you're having a panic moment of trying to like bring everything with you.
I normally have a bug out bag ready to go, but I was rotating what I wanted in my bug out bag. So it's just like, I've got to take some stuff and I have very few possessions, but this is what is the line from Road to Perdition? This is not a home. It's just an empty house. So it's just like, look, I got to get out of here. So like, so when they're here, I got to be like, this is unholy ground.
Yeah. You're shoving stuff into the bag, not being quiet about it necessarily. So we hear
No,
the
no.
zipper unzip, things being shoved in the bag. Maybe not everything's fitting, and you have to take something out, and you have to you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out which is the best thing. But internally, you're like shaking, and you're not quite sure what is even happening. But over your shoulder, you're constantly looking up the staircase. You know that you want to leave, but at the same time, there's something there, and you don't want to go up the stairs.
No, I'm boxed in. Um, I'm gonna try to get in. Oh, I'm gonna try to get on as many lights as possible. I really don't have much options, so it's like I have my little overhead
Hmm.
exposed 100-watt overhead bulb, iridescent, and then just my phone. Try to get on any monitors and TVs. I just really, I'm actually making myself more visible, so I am a target. However, I know that I'm shattered, and it's one of these things. It's like maybe I can blend in with the noise. I don't know, but I've got to get out of here. I'm gonna slide on my Adidas sandals and uh, mop stick in hand. If something comes for me, I can swing. But I know now I'm a lover,
A
not a
duffel
fighter.
bag over your shoulder,
Yeah.
around your waist, like a sash, the mop in your hand as you kind of stand at the corner, looking up the stairs, not able to move forward, but wanting to move forward. And you hear the door squeaking open slowly. And at first, your heart jumps and you think it's going to do it again. But instead, you see Agatha rushing forward.
I'm gonna drop to my knees and try not to cry.
You probably start crying even though you're trying
Yeah.
not to cry.
I think through her like
Leakage.
entry into the building, because obviously you got to get into this building to get to the basement door. There was the whole like her original quote unquote book of magic that is like a reassuring object to her in one hand, in her hand in her pocket with the handgun in the other hand. Like mumbling some sort of like warding, or some sort of like mantra that's supposed to protect people.
Yeah,
Um,
as you're saying this mantra, you are pointing your gun down, down the staircase, and
mhm.
he's holding the broom, and
Yeah.
hear the mop, and he sees you, and he just crumbles down to the floor at the bottom of the
Yeah.
staircase, trying to hold it together, but you can just see that he's sobbing.
She puts the weapon away immediately, and like moves quickly over to Avery, and says, are you okay? What happened? Like looking him over, a little bit. Like, I heard on the phone, but I thought I should come and make sure you were still here.
I'm just gonna say, I fell down the stairs.
You just fell, but I saw something at the top of the stairs, something almost human, I think.
I didn't see anything. I felt a cold rush, and I fell down the stairs. I don't think I'm feeling well. And it's one of those things where I'm just going to kind of sit back and I'm going to kind of throw my head back. Essentially, I'll kind of explain the intention. Avery's trying to disbelieve and ration his way through it, where it's like,
Mhm.
in his heart of hearts, he feels if he acknowledges the thing up there, he's giving power to it. So he's going to try to disbelieve and not play into it, where it's just like, no, I fell down the stairs. I woke up in a shake. I was not stable to walk up the stairs. I fell down the
You-
stairs.
You lean back your head and look up at the ceiling. And above you, you can see that dark face, teeth, just like all kinds of jagged. You can't see eyes, you can't see facial features. It's just darkness and teeth. And that's what you see in that moment it's like almost as you put your head back and
Oh.
you look up, it's like there, and then it's gone.
I'll look right back at Agatha and say, I'm lying. This place isn't safe. Something threw me down the stairs. I don't know what it is. You saw it and you know exactly how it looks. So I don't need to indulge into describing it again.
Yeah,
I'm not well.
She nods along with you, like, yeah, no, I understand. I think at least Orlando will be here soon. I called him in case the worst happened and the thing was still here, or I ran into it on my way in, or anything like that. Come on, I'll get your bag. And she like leans over to grab the like duffel bag that he's been jamming stuff into, and sort of like closes the zipper on it and like shoulders it.
Yeah.
And says, we're going. We'll go to my place.
Okay.
It'll be safe there. I have everything we'll need to keep whatever this is out.
All right. At this point, I would kind of slide behind you and hand on shoulder and kind of like crouch and hide, almost like a celebrity trying to not be seen by the paparazzi. I'm trying to be unseen, and we
You're
gotta
trying to
shuffle
be
our way
unseen,
over.
but you feel deep in your heart, Avery, that no matter the effort that you try to apply to being covered, something is watching you. And as you walk forward, with Agatha trying to like assist you, the two of you hear footsteps kind of walking in like the crunching leaves. The two of you kind of look quickly because you're freaked out. It's Dr. Cologne. It's just Orlando.
Cologne.
As we like leave the building, we run into Dr. Cologne. Yeah.
And Dr. Cologne is wearing, like a jacket and his Northwestern, medical school sweat jacket. And he's still, he rushes up. He's like, and he comes right up to Avery. Avery, are you all right? Are you okay? Let me, and like pulls out his two fingers, puts them like, on the neck, looks at his watch to take a pulse. And then but then he's like, oh, and then like checks to see if you're clammy. It's like,
Avery would like straight up Wikipedia. He goes, the 90% of the time a pulse is checked incorrectly, even by medical doctors. Check my coloration. How is it? Do I have my full color? Am I flush?
No, you look, you look terrible, but it's not,
I think Agatha interjects with like this isn't the place for this. This is a dangerous location. We need to go
I want to like bro hug the good doctor. I'm just gonna be like,
okay.
I'm gonna be like, this is bad. This is bad.
Okay. What happened?
You can tell Avery is hurt as you're like holding him close.
Yeah.
You can see that there's some head trauma.
Okay.
And then as he was walking forward, you could kind of tell, this is all from your medical background. You automatically get these kind of clues. That he's kind of limping a little bit, like he hit his knee or some part of his leg on the staircase as he was falling down.
Or by an intruder, because I don't know what happened.
The chest thing you can't really see unless he like took off his shirt, but yeah.
Outside at 4 a.m, it's probably a bad idea.
In the cold.
I don't wear shirts. No.
Look, you don't look so good. How about if we get you to a place? We'll get you someplace. Oh, we have to wait for Elena. She's coming.
As you say that, you can see.
Agatha states like, sorry, a place? No, my place. I have protections there.
Okay, if you have a good security system. But should we call the police if you've been robbed or something by someone?
I'm not missing any of my belongings. I'm not too sure what happened. I think I need to get my story straight before we involve them.
Okay, and I can wave to Elena.
Yeah, you see Elena kind of walking in the distance, kind of huddled up in her jacket, trying to keep warm. Elena, you can see there's like a group hug happening. That's what it looks like from where you're at.
Is everybody all right? Did something happen? Did somebody die? What?
No, if you look at his pupils, he's not doing so well. Also, there's a bit of head trauma, I'm thinking. And
Agatha just says over Dr. Orlando, just entirely, she just goes, there was a presence in Avery's house.
Someone did die.
What?
Okay.
And there's a new body.
A man.
What?
I don't know
Same
where
as
it
the
is,
last.
but I've seen it. Same as the last one.
Oh, okay. We should perhaps be somewhere where I can check out Avery to see if he's all right, and we can. So, was there a burglar in your apartment a burglar?
I was not burgled. There was no crime of burglary that I could
Follow
tell. But there was an individual. There was a personage of some sort. I was talking with Agatha about the new murder. Before I knew it, there was, in fact, they were there before that.
So there was a
felt-
person in your house.
person loosely described.
Personage.
But let's take this conversation somewhere that isn't a
You have a
street corner.
gun.
She you like see it
Grab
in
a
her
gun.
pocket or something like, and she says not all problems can be solved with magic. Now if we could let's go back to my place and talk there.
So
That-
there. Okay. What about Avery's apartment?
Should we check to make sure it's clear?
We're
I
free
wouldn't
of
go
it
in
and
there.
I am not ready for whatever it would be. No,
It's
we don't
compromised.
we don't go back in there now. We leave and then we form a plan. We look at the crime scene dossier when the station is open in the morning, and we go from there. We see if the new body comes in, or if anybody finds it. But I don't know where it is, so I can't lead anyone there. My place, okay?
Oh.
Follow. I'm gonna drive. Follow me if you have a vehicle. with you.
Yeah, no, I have my ambulance.
If anybody needs a ride, I can, or Dr. Cologne can.
It'd be helpful. I think my moped's out of gas.
Yeah, and Agatha's like, all right, you're coming with me, and like Shepard's
And like, and it's sort of like, oh no, my best friend is going. Oh.
whereas Agatha's like, oh no, my best friend is coming with me.
Oh, my best friend who needs medical help. Oh, it's just like, oh,
You're a
my-
dummy who thinks this is a robbery. I know, occult assault or something. There's some spooky stuff
Called
happening.
assault.
robbery is way more comforting than like this strange word personage. I don't know what
mean,
that is.
Grinning, sharp teeth makes me
Personage.
think we got a vampire on our hands. But that's just an out of game assumption.
That is,
Um,
my in-game assumption. Nothing's creepy's happening at all. Nope.
Yeah. This is just
Just-
same.
Yep.
This
All
is
right.
supernatural.
Everyone to my place.
I'll go with you, Doctor.
All right.
Okay, so we've got Elena and Dr. Cologne and Agatha and Avery. The four of you, well, two of you are driving. The four of you are making your way to Agatha's apartment. You make your way there with no hindrances, and as you arrive, you come in a convoy. I don't think it'll be hard for you guys to
No.
keep in a convoy easily, and you make your way there. And we'll kind of fast forward to you all inside of Agatha's home or apartment. You can see, as she described before, there's like a computer. It's a little bit older. There's some books kind of splayed out everywhere. It looks like maybe a couple glasses and I don't know, pizza maybe. I don't know what you guys were eating.
Yeah,
And-
she didn't tidy up before she went
No,
to
it doesn't look like there. It looks like there might have been a little thing that happened, and you can see like another door that maybe leads to another room and a kitchen that doesn't look super kept.
Yeah, and it's lit sort of in a sort of like that old orangey kind of light.
Yeah,
like
like very
yellow
warm
orangey
lighting.
bulb, like very warm lighting.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. part.
Um,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd add it.
I think you mentioned it last time too.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Yeah.
She sets her like jacket aside, which is like this olive green, like pseudo army looking thing, with lots of pockets. Sets it aside, and
I have a jacket like that.
So do I, which is why I described it. Like, takes the handgun out of the pocket of the jacket and like sets it on the table, along with her book of magic, which is the like first volume she ever owned. It's a comforting thing. And she sits down at the table on like one of the wooden chairs around like a round wooden table, and says, whatever we're dealing with, I don't think it's as simple as you might want it to be. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but what I saw at the top of the stairs,
You were
that-
there?
I wasn't there, but I saw it. I don't think it's human. I don't think it's she like hesitates on the word normal as if nothing she does is normal, so it's like not really normal for her anyway. I don't think it's typical of what we might find in these kinds of places. I don't think it'll be able to get in here, but I don't know for sure. I've done a lot of work to make sure that this place is a safe haven for me. Avery, you need to rest, and we have a few hours before morning.
Let me, and I think Orlando took his little med kit that he had in his ambulance with him up. Let me, I don't, and it's just clearly like you're saying things like that are making me uncomfortable, but medicine makes me comfortable. Let me look at you. Little Penlight starts sort of setting up his little EMT bag. Okay, I'm going to, if it's all right, I'm going to do a examination of you, and I want you to tell me everything that happened.
Yeah. Do you want to see where it struck me? And I can show you. I can remove my shirt and see if there's a mark or anything that's been left on me.
Okay, you were struck. Okay, and
before we RP too much, let's have you roll, and then you can RP out that roll. So it looks like you do have medic, first aid. This is how you're going to restore health. Reminder that to restore stability, someone with shrink will have to give him counseling of some sort.
What I'm trying to do is do both. Like I'm trying to get him to, I'm trying to do the physical medical exam, but also asking him to talk about what happened, to basically also be doing a shrink in terms of trying to sort of talk him through what happened.
That'll take more time if you're okay with that. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
In that case, then roll me a medic and roll me a shrink and add the amount that you would like to add to your roll. And
Avery's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to spend 4 on each for the roll. Okay. And it's I imagine it's kind of like a slightly kind of like a surreptitious shrink, where I'm trying to draw him into that kind of conversation without, as we do the thing. All right. So here's my D6 plus 4. That's a 7. That's for the medic, and then for the shrink, a 9.
Did it actually roll?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I see it.
I see it. Yeah.
So, you didn't add the plus, so that's why I don't have like the plus. So the first one was the medic, you said?
Yep. So 7 and 9.
Okay, 7 and 9. Yes. Perfect. You are 7 and 9. So you're back to, how much stability did you have, Grant?
My max was 5.
Yeah, you're
dropped
back.
to
Well, 6
-1.
technically, because you have the plus 1. So you're back to max, and your health is back to max. On both. Nicely done.
What was like, as I'm doing the look and the chat, how would I assess, because some people, I'm not going to name any names, but their names rhyme with Agatha. Okay, it's Agatha, are saying things like,
by the way, while you're doing this medic, she's busy like making a salt line across the doorway, and, like preparing a few gadgets that look like they're like reflecting mirrors or holy symbols, those kinds of things.
all those things are
Makes sense.
distressing.
Are you assisting Agatha with this, Elena, or are you kind of doing something else?
I think Elena is sitting there while this is all happening, like, why did I come here? This is all happening.
Like you're just seeing like him walking through it, bandaging him up, and then you're like, what is she doing?
See Agatha, doing her.
I figure she has 8 mechanics, so like she would have her own supernaturally.
No, I love it. I think Elena, maybe Agatha made you like a cup of tea, and so you're just sitting there with a cup of tea, sipping and watching
everything happening right now.
There's always tea ready.
Okay, cool. If you're down with that,
I would gladly take the tea.
Okay,
yeah.
just sitting there with the tea, being like, "What is happening?"
But the tea is like some kind of like stinging nettle tea or something.
It's like,
so it's not tasty.
I was like ready for green tea or something, and I'm just like,
earthy.
Yeah.
Bit earthy, yeah.
Bitter and earthy.
Some
Yeah.
soil.
I actually like my tea that way.
Do you
But
have any
Same.
sugar, Agatha?
She's got like a bag of salt in her hand. Yeah, covered. Like, you know.
Yeah, just add a bunch of sugar.
okay.
Get it on the left, not the right.
Yeah.
Ceremonial.
I would
yeah.
like to assess his injuries, both physical and mental. And, you know, if there was some sort of non supernatural explanation for like the thing on the chest, that would be great. That
Yeah.
would be great.
So
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
effect that you have, Avery, is still on in. Like you don't lose that. That's for with you forever.
Oh, I want to keep
Yeah.
that.
Unless you get yeah. But you're stable. You're able to like chill out now. You're not like in the
Let me
sense
get
of
my shirt
on
back
edge every second, but you'll still have those things happen to you. In regards to looking at his mental stability, he seems like maybe he's not sure what he saw from your perspective. Obviously you don't believe these things that people are saying that
I'm
they're
a little
seeing.
worried about it though.
Yeah. You know that sometimes when people have head trauma, they sometimes see
Mm.
things, right? Or like they don't
Mhm.
remember things quite the right way.
Mhm.
So that could be possibly in regards to mental stability, what is
Yeah.
happening here. Maybe he just needs to talk it through a little bit more
Yeah, yeah.
to really
Yeah.
like, get over the experience. But in regards to
A
to
robber
cope
in your
with it-
home is very traumatizing.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
traumatizing. And
wasn't
sometimes you
robbed.
will think that they're a monster in order
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
it's normally that's something that kids deal with, not
Yeah.
adults, but
Yeah.
you have seen cases of that. In regards to his like physical trauma, he definitely has a head wound. It looks like he hit something like bludgeoning style on his head. It does bode with the story that he said where like he hit his head on the wall. And the leg, you can definitely see the leg is like a staircase. It's like a line, like
Oh, yeah,
a stair for sure.
And the chest?
Do you take your shirt and show him the
Yeah,
chest?
yeah. I took everything off. Well,
The
my
chest,
shirt.
you have a giant bruise that's like a circle on his
Oh,
chest. It's like almost a perfect
Perfectly round.
circle.
What normal mundane things do that? GM,
A
like totally
circular
normal.
object, perhaps, like a
Yeah. A
cylinder
piston.
like object, but it'd have to be pretty large, like like a garbage can or like
Did
that
it
kind
bruise
of
my bones
size.
underneath?
Or like a water jug, like I don't know,
Yeah.
something circular. Like you could think of a few objects off the top of
I'm
your head
using
that
my
could make
medical
that.
my medical examiner skills to figure like what kind of force are we talking about? Like
It would be a lot of force to make that giant bruise, but
Yeah.
it also depends on the person. So some people
Yeah.
bruise a lot easier than others.
I'm gonna try to bruise him, like on his arm, like
I'm not bruisable. I'm
I'm just doing
breakable.
like a-
Do you
skin.
ask
like a-
him to out of character?
No.
Is that okay with you first, Grant?
Is
that
it
he's
okay?
gonna bruise
Chris,
you?
It's like a flick.
I want like this is a doctor and and my dad was a doctor, so I'm
Yep.
okay with this. It's like just punch me on the shoulder. It's like that's not the worst he's been hurt today. I just gotta see how quickly he bruises and she just socked me on the
Okay,
shoulder.
so you're
It's
you're
more.
okay
I think
with
it's more of a flick. Like it's like a
Okay.
like a strong flick on the shoulder. Because again, I deal with dead bodies most of the time. So if that is
You
all right,
weren't
like
even
just
thinking, yeah, maybe you're not
Yeah.
even thinking, you're just like, oh, sorry about that, everybody. I restarted the router as quickly as I could. I think we left off with, I was explaining to you the trauma in the chest and what were you asking after that? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was we were talking about like doing the flick to see how easily Avery bruises, right? Because I mostly
you
deal with dead
flick
bodies
him.
now.
And Avery, do you bruise easily?
No. Avery can take a shot with the best of them. It's typically wouldn't bruise easily.
And I think it's like this automatic like flick, like a pretty hard flick too, and then realizing, sorry, and then I'm gonna sort of poke lightly, especially around the sternum. I just want to make sure the bone, because this seems like a lot of
Yeah.
force. Make sure the bones itself, because I would assume with this
Sure.
much force there might be some
Yeah.
problems bone wise, and because that makes sense in a normal world.
It
that
doesn't look like he
maybe
broke anything. It just looks like he's gonna have a bruise there. you can put some kind of ointment on it and stuff to kind
Yeah.
of like help the bruise and so that it doesn't scar.
Uh,
But
Agatha,
it
do you
doesn't
got
look like
any
anything's
coconut
broken.
oil?
It's just a flesh
Cocoa butter.
wound.
I might. I have all kinds of things.
It looks nastier than it really is kind of the situation here.
I suppose the question I would ask is, does that make sense that you'd get something that has this much force? And especially if these edges are perfectly square, that's kind of implies not a nice round edge and whatever
Or
hit
perfectly
it.
circle. It's a perfectly circle.
Perfect
Yeah.
circle.
Perfect
It's a perfect
circle.
Yeah.
Are the edges like sharp or are they soft? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we? I'm kind of trying to figure were the edges of this thing, were they like, was this like a rounded edge? Was this a sharp edge? And how normal is it that you'd get this amount of force right on somebody's sternum
At that angle coming down the stairs.
and also not breaking anything? I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, there's some oddities to it for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
not going
there's
to
some
explain all
oddities.
of them, but yeah, I think from your
Yeah.
perspective, this is strange.
Yeah, okay, that was my
Yeah.
concern, that this seems strange, right? Like you're like,
You've
okay,
seen a lot of strange in the
Yeah.
last 24 hours.
yeah, mhm.
It's probably about 5, 6 a.m. I know that Elena and Dr. Cologne do have work.
Yeah.
So keeping
Yeah.
that in mind, unless you're
So
planning on skipping.
no,
I have
especially
to
if
go
there's a
get those
body.
files. Yeah.
And Agatha, you wrap up kind of securing
my prep, my
your
security.
your
Yeah.
security of your place. And now the four of you can kind of just chat for a moment. It's about 5:30, almost 6. And you both have work at 7, so you have like about an hour
Early.
ish.
Elena, I will give you a forms requesting the files. I'll leave a little bit blank. If there's a second body,
Right.
which I don't, but you don't. If you don't need the request form, then you don't. If you do, then you can. My handwriting. You can fill in for the second body as well. But I would speak first because we don't know about the second body, and like that comment is a larger comment. We don't know about the second body is like,
Yeah.
Agatha, like having a cup of tea now, the same tea that she served to Elena. Says second body. Male. No blood. Organs to the side. Lisa showed me where it was, or led me to it anyway.
How old? Like another college student?
Harder to tell.
They look
I-
similar in age.
I didn't get a good long look, but similar, I think, in age to Lisa.
Okay. Basement. Do you have any sense of like, was this in a basement, in a apartment room?
It was in a living room, someone's living room, not mine, but
Okay.
Well,
I
I'll
don't think-
see
I don't think I'd be able to tell you more until we
Get
find
that-
out where it is. Or
if that body comes in
but
today.
I would be incredibly surprised if these bodies and the thing that was in Avery's house are not connected.
It doesn't make sense. How would they know that Avery was looking into this? Are they?
You know as well as I do that there are other ways to know things than what you think you know.
Elena, you can sense Agatha's frustration.
Yeah.
And my slight panic
And-
probably
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
And
I've
you
been
can
sensing
sense
that the
Dr.
whole
Cologne
time.
is uncomfortable
Yeah.
and confused, and Avery is. What are you feeling, Avery? Scared?
Here's what
pain.
Avery would interject. He goes, I only did 1 year at Ball State, but I noticed I had 2 different math professors. They both approached mathematics completely differently, but they always came to the same solution. There might be more than one way to come to the same solution. You just have to use what works best for you. We can't explain all of it, but the outcome will be the same.
I give Avery another hug. Like
I
I just
give
like it's like a slow like hug, like like a hug.
Yeah. There's more tears, but this time they're less hidden. It's like,
just that you've been through
Aw.
some shit. Listen, you've been through some shit, Hug. Yeah.
Yeah.
if I'm reciting math class,
Yes.
made a good one crying.
So it's like and then I could just sit by and I just keep my arm around your shoulders to make sure that you're feeling okay. Look, we have to Elaine and I have to go back to the office and fill out some paperwork, but okay. And all of a sudden it's like rational. Here's a rational thing. Agatha, sorry, that was your first name. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't.
We're friends, I think,
Smith.
aren't we?
Yes. Like checking to see if she thinks so. Like just like
Yeah,
she's
we're
like-
friends, right? Yeah.
She's like a little weirded out by the fact that you care. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't care.
Maybe you could look through the Instagrams and see if you see that man at all.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I can do that. I take whatever rest you can here before work, and then we'll get started again in an hour. We can't operate on nothing.
We don't have much time. I can't go to work like this. This is my. I will take Elena out, but just and like squeezes Avery's shoulder. Just keep a dog like hit his shoulder a little bit.
He is as safe as he could possibly be here with me.
He's in good hands.
Avery,
Okay.
do you don't feel like you're being seen like you did before,
Not used to so much attention on me.
other than these three?
Yes.
Humming over you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a deep breath and then I'd say, I was supposed to go to the police station too. Is that still
Oh.
a good idea?
Yes.
As long as you're with somebody, I think it'll be fine. Just don't go alone.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
So are the
I have an idea. If you want, and then all of a sudden, as Orlando is beginning to say this, Elena probably could sense like, oh wait, this is probably a bad idea. What I'm about to say right now, like that sort of like it's like oh, I had an idea. This is very practical, and like the practical words start coming out of the mouth, while the feelings are like, oh, this is probably not a good idea at all. It's like, well, if you have to go to the police station, you and Elena could go together, and then I think that Agatha and I could go to the medical examiner, and it's just like like it's like practically that makes sense, but then like, oh no, wait, do I actually want Avery and Elena going to the police station together? Wait, do I want to go to the medical examiner's office with Agatha? Like it was like this whole kind of like but those words come out anyway.
In the theory that Avery will be going anywhere outside of this house, Agatha's already gone over to like various jars
Yeah.
and unscrewed a couple of like mason jar lids and taken out
Buy them to me.
dried thyme
Here.
and oregano and rue and stuff, and is like sticking these like dried herbs into Avery's pockets, sort of like without permission. Like, you know, you have some kind of like curse, or you have the attention of something, and I'm gonna
yeah.
ward you as best I can if you're leaving this house. Yeah.
When I became friends with Aggie, I signed all the waivers. It's like, this is just the way it has to be.
Yeah.
All right. And I think as Avery's getting herbs shoved into his pockets, is that the agreement that you guys want to go with? So Avery and Elena are going to go to the police station, and Dr. Cologne and Agatha are going to go back to the examiner's office.
Yeah, sounds good.
With some request forms from me that Elena has that she can pull out if she needs them.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm guessing, Elena, you kind of call into the office and tell them that you're going to be
Yes.
stopping by the police station and you'll be in later.
Yeah. So Officer Bill, I think, is who I'm looking for. I
Yeah.
would request that specifically.
So we'll do the split. We'll start with Elena and Avery as you both arrive at the police station. You're all cleaned up as best you can be. If you wanted to be, if you didn't want to be, You can just be the way you are.
Yeah.
Prior to joining. You're looking for Bill specifically?
Yeah, because he was on the case.
Yeah, you go in. You've been in here before, so you know a few of the people. So has Avery, and you know where Bill's office is. So you make your way over to Bill.
So as I head in, I'm gonna try to for my first attempt with this, appeal as much to the cop talk that I have, and try to make it seem like I'm assigned to this case and everything, and I'm gonna be looking into it. So I walk in and I'm like, Officer Bill, Elena Miller.
Yeah, Officer Bill kind of looks at you. He takes a moment as he's looking at you to try to remember you, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember you," and is like, "Yeah, how may I help you today?"
I am assigned to the case that came in yesterday. It was a bit. I know it's one of the ones that's a bit more on the DL, but it was brought to our office, and I was wondering if you could send me any of the case files that you have, or any other info on the case itself.
He looks at you two for a moment, seeing if his bullshit detector kind of goes off. Why don't you close the door? He says
Of
to
course.
Avery.
Avery nods and closes the door.
Have a seat. He sits down at his chair. There's like 2 chairs in front of his desk. His office seems really pretty sterile. There's a picture of his family on the desk. It looks like a calendar of some sort. He has a couple whiteboards filled with some different things, and a file cabinet. I didn't think they'd be sending anyone over. I thought a different officer was going to be picking that up. Anne Dingo, she's the lead investigator.
Yeah. So, look, I'm kind of, and Elena's going to kind of look down and look, this case is kind of important to me. I'm a law student, I'm a student at University of Chicago, and this girl, I kind of feel very closely connected to this case because,
Well,
she's kind of my age and maybe a few years younger.
we often tell officers that they should stay off of scenes that are like that.
I know they do. But this one, I feel very, very drawn to. When I saw her come into the office, I saw her body and how everything was. Look, I need this case. Please. And I'm trying to kind of appeal with the empathy and very much she looks at him with a pleading face.
You can tell that he's feeling uncomfortable, but also understanding. Kind of leans forward, looks at you two straight in the eyes, and then draws his attention to Elena. Look, I know what it's like. I remember when I first started. It's like 30 years ago for me. I guess I just don't feel the same way now, but you gotta have your big break. I know what it's like. Look,
Yeah.
just be careful. This one's, we could use all the help that we can get, but there's a reason why it's classified.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, he kind of points over at Avery and then looks back at Elena.
Right. This is Avery.
I'm a right
Yeah, we've
along.
seen him in the office before.
He has also a very specific connection to this case.
I'm listening.
I look at Avery's body.
I say, officer, you might be familiar with some of my past work, and I name off like 5 of the top 100 true crime podcasts. In fact, I would say in the fiction, maybe I've even done some audio forensics for the force freelance from time to time. As IRL, I've done video forensics for law enforcement when they're short-staffed. It's just kind of like,
He asks you some questions in particular about some of the things to kind of see and gauge whether you know what you're talking about. But with your history and your research
Yeah.
and the random trivia knowledge that you have, and of course the work that you've done actually, you're able to pass. And he kind of you can definitely see Elena, or you can feel Elena, that he's uncomfortable about Avery being there, but reassured by you being there. And
yeah.
he leans back and he's like,
Do I make
pulls
you
out, opens his
uncomfortable?
drawer, writes something down, passes it over. She'll give you the files. That's Ann Dingo. She's the lead detective.
Appreciate it. If we have any other questions, I may be coming back, but for now, I think we'll stick to the files and see
We were
what we can.
as thorough as we could be. It was strange. And you see him kind of like looking off into the distance. It just, who does that? Doesn't leave anything behind.
Yeah, that's how I felt too when the body came in yesterday. This is going to be an interesting one, but you're right. I really want this to be my big break, and thank you
I see a lot of
for
me in you. I think you'll do well. I mean, look, I wasn't expecting an intern to show up in my office like this.
Thank
We'll get
you,
you out
sir.
of that examiner's office. No time. Keep up the
I
good
hope
work.
so. I hope so.
He stands up, clasps your hand, reluctantly offers to clasp Avery's hand.
Yeah, I'll shake it and be like, I like the examiner's office. Damn good coroner runs it.
Right. Yeah, Betty,
Elena
she's
just-
a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she has some of the best help in the city.
He opens the door and like hopes the two of you leave.
Yeah, yeah. I slide out with one of those things, I smile without using my eyes, as I believe.
As you're walking out of the office, Avery, you just get this very uncomfortable feeling. It's almost like there's something watching you again. You kind of like look around really quickly. You can see that the cameras, they all feel like they're looking at you.
It's like a panopticon.
Elena, you can sense
I
that
was gonna say
Avery
yeah.
is feeling very, very cautious.
Everything all right there? I mean, I know that the police station isn't your favorite place to be, but
I think we should go.
are you
It's not
sure?
safe.
I feel like this is probably one of the safest places we can be right now.
I think the devils are inside the walls. If they're not inside the walls, they're watching from without. So I kind of look at the cameras. I go, we should go get those files, and they go quickly.
Okay. And I
Should I
will
wait
like
outside, or should I go with you? And I'm gonna like take your hand. You can feel it. I'm like shaking at this point.
I think maybe if you just want to wait outside, but don't go too far. Just right outside, like the smoking area. Don't go past there.
I'll get hives. I'm gonna I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll wait right outside. Kind of lick my lips and look around. I don't think I can. How quickly could I find an exit? It's one of those things. I feel like the walls are closing in.
Yeah, it takes you a bit, but you do find your way out. And Elena, where
wander.
you you're headed to go to
To Anne.
Anne's
the-
office.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see Anne's office is a little bit bigger than Bill's. It looks like there's also another extra table in Anne's office. You can see like it's a glass, almost like fishbowl style office. There are a bunch of people who look like they have not slept in 24 hours that are at this table. And you can kind of see Anne standing there. It looks like she's like pointing up at something on the screen. And there's quite a bit of few people at the table. Some have like laptops, some have papers. It looks like they're in the middle of a meeting or something.
I'll kind of give them a few moments. I don't want to like directly interrupt, but I'll kind of make myself known and see if she kind of notices me.
Yeah, she's very quick to notice. She wraps up kind of what she's saying and looks like she's like pointing at some things, and everyone nods, and some of them, like a couple of them, get up to go get coffee, and the other ones like are typing away. And she comes over to the door and opens the door and says, can I help you?
Detective, hi. I'm Elena Miller at Cook County Medical Office.
And Dingo,
Nice to
lead
meet you.
detective.
I was assigned, and I'll hand the paperwork that Officer Bill gave me, and I was assigned to look at the case files from yesterday's body.
She
that was
swings
brought
open
in.
the door even further, just like within seconds of like looking at this paper, and she's like, join the crew. Hopefully you're not looking forward to sleep.
Well, I mean, I've already had one night of really bad sleep, so what's 5 more, right? Are
She looks
you
at a little
all?
questioningly?
Are you all of these people are on the case as well?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest cases our office has had in a long time.
Have you found anything thus far since yesterday?
One of the other people kind of shouts over, we wish.
What about there hasn't been anything else of, and I'm going to try to subtly ask this without, there hasn't been any additional reports of any other similar bodies, has there?
Not yet.
Okay, good. I just know, like, with things like this, sometimes there are repeats, and I just want to be sure. That's why I want to do this as quickly as possible and see if I can help.
It's a good idea, Elena. Why don't we put you on that?
Put me on finding.
Looking if there's a pattern, maybe something from an old case, maybe looking at our cold case files. I'm going to warn you,
Yes.
that storage area has a lot of files.
Okay.
It's not an easy one.
I will do my best. But for now, I
You're
think.
welcome to look at what we have. And
Yeah.
she kind of points over to the table. And you can kind of see there's a couple other people. One of them actually slides over a pile of papers.
All right. Time to get down to business and look at all of this.
Yeah.
Is there any, are these all like kind of hard files? There's no like, I assume it's like, I can't get like copies of everything.
You could ask.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would ask, be like, can I take this back to our place?
Well, they don't really want us to take these out, but you're at the examiner's office?
Yeah.
I know Betty over there. She's good people.
Betty's great.
Look, I'll send her a message and let her know I'm sending this over with you.
I appreciate that. I really do.
If it helps y'all in your investigation towards this, it'd be helpful. But so far, I got the report from Dr. Orlando Colon yesterday evening, and doesn't look like he was able to figure out anything new.
Yeah, we're still kind of investigating also the body. We'll report back as well if we discover anything.
All right, then. It takes a while. They're printing all the papers for you. You're sent back with it looks like 2 like file cases They're like boxes,
Mhm.
and they have like a little latch on each of them. You know the code to unlock it.
Okay. All right. So I guess I will head out then.
All right. Avery, while you're outside, you kind of stand up against the wall waiting for Elena. Maybe, are you the smoker? No. Dr. Orlando's the smoker.
Mm-hmm.
You kind
I
of
may
stand.
have started.
You may have started. you find yourself smoking something that you're not used to, and you just keep looking up into the camera that's kind of watching you outside. And for you, it feels like it's looking at you. And we're going to pan over to a scene with our lovely Agatha and Dr. Cologne. The two of you head to the examiner's office. What's your initial goal here, Dr. Cologne?
Before we get to the examiner's office, Orlando, like while in the ambulance, the 1950s ambulance, Orlando would say to Agatha, while not looking at her, but like looking at the road responsibly and not looking in her eyes when he says this thing, because this thing is worrisome. Agatha,
Yes, doctor.
do you think it would be all right if we took a quick 5-minute detour before we get to the examiner's office?
Where are we going?
Could we go to Avery's apartment?
You want to go back to Avery's place? Why?
Apartment.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Just no reason. I thought maybe if you went there, you could. You didn't go inside, so maybe if you went inside, you might get a feeling.
I went inside. I went down the stairs. I found
Oh,
Avery.
but maybe if you looked in the daytime, you'd notice something different.
If you want to go there, we can go there. But it's not necessarily a good idea. Daylight at least will change things.
Well, I mean, I'm a medical examiner. I might notice something medical in the apartment.
I don't think there are any bodies there, but if you want to go, we can go. I'm not telling you we can't.
But you would be there, and it would be safe, so it would be all right. But this is just a medical thing, so just there could be tissue samples there, or maybe the thing that hit. We'll just go there. Just
Agatha agrees to go
She nods
because she has
like,
no bullshit
"Okay,
detector. She
whatever."
thinks that that's strange, but okay. And the two of you make your way to Avery's apartment, in quotations. The restaurant above it, you can kind of smell the smell of tasty food as they are starting up for the morning, baking some bread. And you make your way down towards the basement.
So Orlando goes externally. It's like, this is fine. This is what normal medical examiners do. They just walk into places to see if there's evidence left. Clearly and also there's this whole rationalization going on in his mind.
It all hits the fan as soon as he touches the door. Dr. Cologne touches the doorknob to open it, and upon doing so, feels a very strong emotion, anger, happiness, frustration. This time it's not a manic laughing, but more of you feel a negative, violent tenacity lingering on the doorknob.
And I think my knees buckle a little bit the minute I touch the doorknob. And I just have to reach out to steady myself on something, like wall, right? Like wall, door, something. Uh, oh. Um, is it and like there's like the initial attempt to try to explain this away as something, but I can't, and so I just open the door.
Agatha's just watching, you know, like paying close attention to our Dr. Orlando's like responses here, but also like not really sure why we're here, you know, like at his request. So
Yeah. You open the door. The sound of creaking occurs as you slowly hand the door open. You hold the doorknob. You let go of it. That feeling of violence leaves you.
is
And you
everything
take your
all
first
right?
step down.
Of course, it's just this feeling of not feeling, but I could imagine from my medical experience stepping down the stairways that if there was an intruder here, they would probably feel at this moment a feeling of desire, a happiness about violence. But
I think Agatha at this point, like while you're stammering out a reason, she just says like, you don't have to rationalize with me. What is it? You know, like you don't have to come up with like if and but and when sort of thing. Like she's just, you know, she doesn't have any bullshit detector, so she can't tell that you're like lying, quote unquote. But she just wants you to be calm, you know, like she just stammering through it won't help. Just tell me what it is.
I mean, I and it's important to note that he's not lying to her.
Lying to
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
as-
which is why
yeah, yeah.
it's like, yeah, she's not.
Yeah. He is lying to someone, and and he's like, well, it's like I could imagine, and it's just a kind of look like a gesture, like the gesture that says this is scientific, like because environment, as like walking down the stairs, trying to see where maybe this could have happened to his best friend, a sense of frustration, maybe, or anger. I imagine anybody that would do this would be angry but frustrated, but also strange.
From what I saw, the thing looked happy,
Yes,
enjoying themselves.
that too. And the gesture's like gesture at a wall, as if when you gesture the wall, that means it's scientific, because clearly there were blood
Yeah.
spatters on the wall that
You
let
make
you read
your way
that.
down and you put your hand kind of near where you can see that probably Avery hit his head.
Yeah.
And you feel a sense of being really, at first, unsure about something. Like maybe there's a cat. You're sensing
Oh, yeah.
something with a cat. And then sheer fear and confusion, and it's overwhelmingly, like, to the point where you kind of back up towards where Avery was up against the wall and kind of like cowered down, and then you feel so much emotion that you begin crying.
And I think I just curl up where Avery curled up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just start crying, and I'm reaching out for someone who's not there, right? Like I'm.
Yeah.
I think Agatha takes a moment. While
Agatha,
you're...
you watch this, and it's almost like as Dr. Cologne is moving into this area, it looks like he's using the same exact movement as Avery was doing. like almost like a reenactment of when you
She-
came down the stairs and
she,
saw
she
him.
kind of nods to herself. Like this kind of thing isn't unfamiliar to her. I mean, she watched a witch, like hum at a computer for 5 minutes. Like weird behavior is normal to her. But it's weird for Dr. Cologne to do this kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so she reaches out to him, like when he reaches out in that same like way, and tries to pick him up. And she tries to do so with like a measure of assurance, like a not a confidence, but like a warm presence. And says, "You wanted to come here to see what happened, to actually see what happened, right?"
No, I don't see things. I just I sometimes just feel echoes.
And so when you were saying that they were angry or upset, or they could be, you were feeling those things from the creature?
The creature, so from the doorknob. I don't understand any of that, so I think Avery's not okay.
No, I imagine he'll need some time, very least. Encounters with these kinds of things can be jarring. Really shake you. It makes me wonder if we really want to find all the answers here.
If it will keep, I and he takes a moment to try to center himself, because there's still this lingering feeling of being Avery. Agatha, I believe in, and he just can't even finish the sentence. I believe in science, because we're just in a very uncomfortable space. If an intruder or something was here, someone was here, they know where he lives, and that means he's not safe. So don't we have to know so we can keep him safe?
We should find out, but it's a matter of whether we'll like the answer. Whether you'll like the answer in what you believe in.
I don't like the idea of somebody important to me dying, so...
She nods and says, then we have to go to the medical examiner's office and see if the body's there.
And I
Next
just
body.
thought maybe, I don't know exactly what you do, but maybe if you saw the body, it might help something. And hopefully the toxicology reports, and it's just like, okay, reports, paperwork, okay, normalcy, right? Like you can just see it sort of like the little,
I think
the ball.
there's a little bit of addition from Agatha that's like, I don't need to be near things to see them. I don't need to touch them or sense them or what have you, but more detail is always better, and looking at something longer is always helpful. But I think we need that report. I think we need to see what other people have seen already before we can make any further judgments. I know this was a place where something bad happened. I saw the beginning of it. We both know that now, and I'm sure you knew it before.
I would like to get one thing from this room that will make Avery feel better. Like one of his iPods.
You can see that on the bed. It looks like maybe when he was trying to pack the bag that Agatha was holding, that maybe he couldn't fit everything in the bag, so he had to leave some things behind. And you do find a couple pieces of things that were left behind that you can grab.
So I look around and I see his Neon Genesis Evangelion wall scroll,
Yeah.
and I take that.
Yeah. He didn't want to
because-
like get it all bent while it was in the
Yeah,
bag.
you wanna
So
crinkle it
The
up.
limited
Yeah.
printing.
Yeah, so I get that Evangelion wall scroll and I just take it as if it's kind of almost like it's a safety blanket because I think it makes me feel a little bit better.
yeah, you're like holding it and you're walking back
Yeah.
up the stairs. And actually touching that, the first moment that you touch it, you get a moment of anxious and anxiety, but a very slight feeling of like happiness.
Yeah.
Probably because that memory is much long ago versus like
Yeah.
the last time it was touched, right? And the two of you make your way back up, and as you're getting up to the staircase, I think you maybe avoid you avoid touching the door, and Agatha closes the door. But you notice that your phone is vibrating, and you kind of like look down and you see some messages. It looks like Carlos is like, "Man, where you at?"
I'm like, on my way. Like,
Betty's
then it was,
getting shit for you not being here.
I was like, on my way.
Right, we'll try to cover for you, man. Something's going down,
New body?
and that's where we're gonna take a break.
Oh,
Break time.
Oh, new body break.
So we will return after a short 8-minute break. You can enjoy some fan art and some music. Although the music is a little bit more traumatizing. I'm sorry. Had to keep it
Nice.
spoopy, you
It's
know?
been
Gotta
very
have
creepy
spoopy
music. Yeah.
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 Someone else was in chat last episode and was like, "This music is making me tense."
It is.
I'm like,
It
that's the
adds
point.
to the-
That's what I want to hear.
All right, we'll see you guys all in a little bit of break. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Parallel Killer, episode 2, part 2. We had quite a little bit of an intro here. Our lovely Avery might have gotten hit by something hard, some kind of like weird entity. And Agatha came to assist, as well as Dr. Cologne and Elena. Quickly, they were able to aid him, get him stabilized. He still seems a little not all there, but physically he looks good. He's mentally all right compared in Dr. Cologne's mind. Minus it seems like he might have to have some further counseling down the line during his lifetime. So the four of them decided that they were going to split up. Elena and Avery went to the main police station to talk to Bill, who was the main officer or the first officer on the crime scene for Lisa Bath's murder. He then directed Elena, after Elena tugged at his heartstrings and was like, I need this break. I feel like I can really help. He directed her to Anne Dingo, who is the lead detective on the case. And Elena has now joined the team. She's been given the okay to bring over the documentation to the examiner's office, as it may assist them further. And she was also assigned to look at past cases. And so you've been given access to some of the cold case files in order to look to see if there is any correlation of any past murders to the current one. And then, of course, Agatha and Dr. Cologne were going to go to the examiner's office, but decided to take a little detour, which made Dr. Cologne late for work. Agatha was really little not sure why they were going back, but they decided to go back to Avery's
I think she has a
apartment,
pretty good read on it now. Yeah.
aka the basement. And now Agatha understands why. It appears that Dr. Cologne doesn't see things, but perhaps feels things, and was able to kind of almost dissect what happened in this situation via feelings and kind of figuring out what happened in that basement. And now the two of them are headed back to the examiner's office, which we left off with Dr. Cologne in a text message with Carlos saying, there's some shit's going down, you're late. And Dr. Cologne's like, was there a body? And Carlos says, I can't tell you. Hurry up.
OMW.
And we make our way there.
Mhm, mhm.
You see Carlos like put a thumbs up emoji. And the two of you make your way in this old ambulance car down the street. And we'll start the scene with the two of you. The two of you make your way into the coroner's office or the examiner's office. Same thing, I guess.
I
Go ahead.
give Agatha like one of my medical bags to carry, like so she's carrying things for me as
She doesn't look like
go.
she should be here. I'm just gonna put that
Just-
right.
just-
It doesn't matter what she has in her hands. She
So
definitely,
you look like you should be here. Just put
Uh-huh,
the bag
yeah.
in your hands. Just
she takes it.
Nice. Yeah, no. Agatha takes it. You could probably even find her like another lab coat or something like that. Just be like, act like you belong here.
it's just like low key, like
My
it's just one of those things like
assistant.
like walk and talk, just sort of go.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
She goes along with whatever it is she needs to do to like follow along.
so where are you going first? Are you going to your office in the examiner's location, Dr. Cologne, or where are you headed?
Heading to my office first, but in the way looking to see what's up. Do you know what I mean? As you're walking to your office,
Yeah.
seeing where the crisis is.
You don't see anything that looks off. I mean, even when there is a crisis, everything's pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
You all deal with people who are already dead, so it's
Yeah.
not like you can really fix them usually.
Yeah.
So it's pretty chill, literally.
That's a worrisome statement.
So you make it to your office with no questioning of anything that's happening other than you get a stern look as you go past Betty's office, and she kind of gives you like a taps on our fake watch and looks at you. You like a thumbs up and point at her back uncomfortably. Agatha's like, I'm not here. And you make it into your office. In your office,
I think I've picked up any reports that would have come in. If there's a place to pick up reports, I would have picked them up.
yeah, it looks like the reports
Yep.
that you had in the out pile have been taken
Yep.
out, which you will get confirmation on that from Elena. But it looks like all the out documents have been already placed out there. You do have a couple out documents that have been piled on. Some of them are for other cases that you're working on or other bodies that you're processing. So nothing looks like it's familiar to you in that front, and nothing new in regards to like something similar to what you've currently had. Then you, as you two are kind of you're looking at the papers. Agatha's is kind of standing next to you. You hear like a skid of like sneakers on like a pavement on the floor, and you see Carlos kind of like slide in and like holding on the side of the door. He's like, yo, you want to check this out? Hey,
Okay.
Agatha,
Hi.
what are you doing here?
We drove in together. Did the toxicology reports come in for the body from yesterday?
I think there's supposed to be some that are coming in a couple hours, but there's something else you want to see.
Okay, let's go. I just say to him and then walk with him where we're going and just see if Agatha comes.
I think
Just
Carlos gave you like a weird look when you said, "Oh, she drove in with me," but then as soon as you followed up with a
Yeah.
question, he like forgot. He's like a goldfish, and he just like walks down the hallway, kind of point. He's like kind of excited. This is the most excited that you've seen Carlos. He's not a very excitable person. He's usually
But-
pretty monotone.
And I think that as we're walking, make that gesture like the come like to like
Yeah,
just come
follow
along.
Agatha.
She follows along, but it's like, it's a little bit like she's waiting for the time when she has to like, separate from you, because it's clear I'm not gonna be able to get into like the room with the corpse sort of thing if there is one.
Yeah, you
But
could.
yeah, she goes along with you.
Yeah, Carlos swings open the door. It has that like tsh, like air sounding. You feel like the cold air kind of push through you as you make your way in. And
I hand masks. I hand
you
a
can
mask
see-
to Agatha, gloves.
yeah, you guys all gear up, and then you go through the second door, and it has kind of like that same feeling, but it's even colder. And as you walk in, you can see there's a whole line of the coolers again, and another body on a table, and then there's the empty table on the other side.
I'm going to, and I go immediately to my tape recorder, right? And I start recording it, and I'm like,
And I think as you start recording, before you even say anything, Carlos is like, do you think it's a serial killer? I've never worked on a serial killer murder. I've been watching a lot of murder cases.
pause, pause the recording.
And he's just kind of like really hyped up. And this is like the most hyped that you've ever seen him.
I think yes to serial killer. Also, my consultant here will be able to help me with the tattoo. I say, and I just sort of like head
He looks-
towards,
Kind of questioningly, but it was like, all right.
like I just
It's
say
above
that
his pay grade. Carlos doesn't
Like-
care.
thinking there might be a tattoo. And I'm gonna go and head towards the arm to like give like and sort of gesture Agatha to come and
Yeah, she's with you.
Yeah, Carlos heads out. When you say that to him, he just kind of like he takes it for what it is when you say that, and heads out. Make sure that
is
you
the
have all the
file?
paperwork you need. Yeah, you
Thank
have
you.
like the clipboard next to you and stuff. Yeah, you unzip the body. It's Agatha. I don't know if you've actually seen a dead body before, but it is not pleasant and it doesn't smell great.
I mean, I feel like she's seen dead bodies in that, like, she's been present in visions of dead bodies.
Yeah,
you
but
know what I mean?
actually
But, like, yeah,
experiencing-
in the flesh, probably
Yeah.
not very frequently, at least.
Again, as you zip it down, you slowly hear the zipping of the bag. You can see it's very similar to Lisa Bath's body, but this gentleman, his skin kind of looks the same. It's like sunken in. There's no blood. It's that same perfect opening of like where like the skin is missing from and you're assuming the organs are probably in those containers.
Question.
Mhm.
This is not a disturbing question. So
Okay.
nobody should be disturbed, especially Avery should not be disturbed by this at
Yeah.
all. That opening that you mentioned,
Mhm.
is it similar to the bruise that Avery had on his chest? I'm just asking.
No, it's actually not.
Oh, that's great. Yay. It was just because that would probably be bad. I'm gonna
It
sort of
does
turn
have
my
perfect edges like that though,
Oh.
but it's not the same shape. It's like all the way around, and
Oh.
like you can see the skin on the sides, but like where
Yeah.
there should be skin on the top parts is like just bone. You can see straight through. It's like someone gutted a fish. It's disgusting.
Nice. Yeah. hmm I turn on my
But
tape
left the
recorder,
bones
but left the bones
perfectly in
because,
place.
Thinking about a gutted fish, I turn my tape recorder and I start sort of just going through the general process, the procedure.
You look at the arm though, because that was
yeah.
a question for you, and you don't see a tattoo on the arm. But as you start examining the rest of the body, you do find a tattoo on the leg. This tattoo looks similar to the previous one that you saw on Lisa Bath, but it's a little bit different. This one has, what does it look like? It is an upside down triangle.
And I say it, right? I say, on the left leg, upside down triangle, and then I just sort of like point to it for Agatha to figure out what that means, because I do not know. And I think as she's looking, there was just something about the idea of a gutted fish that he looks to see if any, I'm going to say an unfortunate word, if any meat is missing. The organs have been removed, but is any...
Like the muscles are still there? Yeah, the muscles would be still there. So
Okay.
it's just like all the blood is drained from them and all their organs have been taken out
Okay.
perfectly.
So nobody's had like a meal, a meat meal.
Ah.
I don't know. Not eating the muscles of the person.
Okay.
yeah.
That's all. That was just checking, because
Yeah.
things you worry about.
This is
And again,
this is-
no bones are broken. It's almost identical to Lisa's. But now that you're looking at the documentation, you can see that this is Marcus Blackthorne. He's 22 years old. And you basically see where you see all his like medical background and data. And actually in this, you can see that there was an incident when he was 8 years old where he was hospitalized. There was a potential drowning that happened. Or not, yeah. I mean, he almost drowned.
And I'm doing and I'm going to go through all like the process. And part of this pattern is just so that she can hear what's going on, and also that she has time to also investigate.
Yeah.
And you're going to go through all the organs as well, and thinking about connections and patterns.
Everything
looking-
matches up. It's like it is definitely
Yeah.
whoever did this to
Yeah.
Lisa Bath probably did this to Marcus Blackthorne.
Yeah.
Agatha, do you have questions?
I was gonna say, if I just say in a general scope, is there anything about this particular body, like getting to look at it this closely, is there anything about this particular body that would twig any of like Agatha's particular knowledge? You know what I mean? Like,
I think
she's not a medical examiner, so
No.
she can see like she
it
can't
looks
see the
disgusting to you.
Yeah, the
This is
troopers,
definitely
yeah.
not pleasant. You've seen weird stuff like this in your visions, but never in person. So maybe part of you wants to vomit upon initial seeing it, which is
Yeah,
most
she's got
people's
good.
experience.
She's got good. What do you call
Even
it?
medical
Good-
students.
Good stability, so she, I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like she can
you keep
hold
it
herself
down.
together. Yeah.
But when the
I hand her
tattoo,
a perfumed handkerchief,
nice.
so that she can at least put that in her.
yeah, put it
It's
over there.
helpful. Yeah.
As he kind of like tilts over the back of the leg and you can see the tattoo, that is the one thing that sticks out to you. Nothing else makes sense to you. It's all
Mhm.
weird medical stuff. And also, I mean, again, you're going through all those rituals in your mind.
I mean,
that
it's like
this
a
could
lack
potentially
of
be.
blood. Like,
Yeah.
the usual
The tattoo sticks out to you. An upside down triangle represents water often. And so that
Mhm.
is with your occult, you immediately realize that. So you know there was a fire triangle, This one's a
Yeah,
water
and
triangle.
this I think she immediately like twigs on, having seen like the documentation with
Mhm.
Orlando and stuff. She comments like, was there a fire in Lisa Bath's history, like a disaster of some kind, a house
Oh,
burning down, or a emergency something? Because he has the symbol for water, and he almost drowned when he was younger, and she had the symbol for fire, so maybe it's connected that way.
And I think
and
almost as that question's
yeah,
immediately
Yeah.
being asked, Elena and Avery,
yep.
you show up in like the viewing area at the top.
Knock, knock, knock.
Uh,
And you tap on the glass, Elena.
Mhm.
And
and
you
I
both
re-
can see what's down there. Avery, it might be kind of gross for you. I don't know how you're feeling. Elena, you saw this before. It's almost exactly the same as Lisa Bath's body. You can see like this is a very similar case.
So this
and
was the vision
I'll
you
re-
had.
I will repeat the question out loud so that they can hear it. If there was a fire in Lisa Bath's history, so that if they wanted,
Oh.
yeah. So I repeat that question so that you two can hear it in case you need to do some searches.
Yeah, there is a way for you guys to kind of like hit a speaker and speak down into that room too.
Okay.
From the
I
observation.
just shout as loudly as I can through the bullet.
They can't hear you through the glass, but if you
And then Elena just taps the thing annoyedly.
what were you trying to say, Avery? Or Grant?
Okay,
What was Avery trying to say?
No, I was first I was going to ask, it was confirmed. So my question for you as the facilitator, would I be able to spend any of my history or research to answer if there was one? Because I was doing a bunch of digging into her past and her history. Maybe.
Not from where you were looking, but
Okay.
Elena does have the case files.
Right.
So you two could like open those and both of you
I was
could
gonna
split 'em up
say-
and look at them.
Avery, I think it's time for us to get to work. We need to look through all those case files.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Primarily because Lisa Beth was not a social, like she wasn't really on social media much other than
I get
like,
that.
yeah. So that was kind of the
But
thing.
what I would be, almost to fast forward, but the other question would be if I Google searched Lisa Bath fire, fires, that I wouldn't find anything, but I'll look in the cases.
Yes. In the case
right.
files, you do see that there was a case in regards to a fire. It looks like Lisa Bath's parents died when she was 8 years old. There was a fire. She was the only survivor of that fire. They did not see it as an arson. It seems like it was maybe like a house accident from the investigation of it. And yeah, it was very traumatizing. They kept it very quiet because they didn't want, because they had like a minor involved and she has to live the rest of her life. They're trying to keep it, the family wanted to keep it private.
Okay. Well, it does look like, and I would, press the thing. It does look like there was an incident in Lisa's life where her family died in a fire when she was young.
How old?
She was- Did it say how old? Or she was just
8.
like
Yeah, she's 8 years
Okay,
old.
8 years old. 8 years old. She was the only survivor.
This victim here, Marcus, he almost drowned when he was 8 years old. So,
Okay.
and Agatha notes that this tattoo is a water tattoo.
Lisa's was fire. So, are we looking for two more victims?
Two more elements.
Disasters related to them at 8 years old.
Earthquake, airplane crashes, tornadoes,
Avalanche.
avalanche.
Avery and Elena, as you go through the
Tornadoes.
documents about Lisa Bath, you see that she lived with a roommate. Her roommate's name was Karen Landeros. Karen was the one who found the body when she returned from a date with her girlfriend. They've been roommates for about 3 months. They don't know each other that well, but they both went to the college at DePaul University. Lisa was studying accounting, and she worked at the Target near the college at 2650 North Clark Street.
Okay.
And then, of course, the information about her childhood as well. She's been through a bunch of different um, therapies, and she was a good student. You can see, like, the record states that she, was valedictorian, 4.0.
Mm.
Interesting. So there's nothing in her immediate life that seems to lead to some sort of any sort of enemies of sorts. She was a star student. She had a roommate that she was kind of acquaintances with. She was studying accounting in school. She just kind of seems like your average, maybe even above average student.
Well, she was valedictorian. She was top.
Yep.
She is the extreme.
Yeah.
Can we get the case file for Marcus Blackthorn?
Yeah, I can see if I can put in a request for this one as well, now that it just came in.
I'm pulling my
Yeah, maybe.
laptop out of my gym bag and I'm going to access it the Avery way.
I'm
Possible.
going to look at the lungs for both of our two victims.
Okay.
They've been removed, so they're here. But I thought you might have, like, there might be like signs of lingering fire damage or water damage from their youth. Maybe not, but like if they've both had, I'm like, now I'm thinking about fire and drowning. I want to see if there are any evidences of, if there's any evidence of that in their bodies in any spaces, looking at lungs, looking at other parts of their body where it could be
think
there.
The drowning stuff would all be healed up, but the fire, there might be little notes that you can notice. Now, when you look back, there might have been like a little bit of her skin that seemed different, but it didn't really look that much off. But now you can see like, oh, that was a slight burn mark, but very tiny. Like that,
was
like
so
now
long
that
ago.
you're reflecting on that. Yeah. So what information, or how do you guys want to like get further information?
So, Avery, did you have another way to get those files a bit quicker?
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, I can do it the official way, and it might take a few hours, but
My way is technically official. It's also illegal, but it would be official.
And now that he's in the examiner's office, this is probably a little bit more easier for you to do because you're actually on their thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you're gonna hack in.
Yay.
With that, you I will say that you'll need to use one of your preparedness as well for this.
Yeah.
To say that you kind of have a thing that will let you like hack into this. So you are able to. You can see that there's a file. There are files being transferred to Betty. These files also include files on a Marcus Blackthorn that just came in. It looks like he is also 22 years old. He lived alone, though. The cleaner found his body when he came to clean the house. Cleaner has been with the family for 30 years, used to clean Carl's parents' place, but they died a few years ago. The parents died 1 year apart of old age, is what it states there. There was an incident where he was 8 years old and he drowned, which you can see that already in the other files. He also worked as a barista at Buckstar, I'm going to say, because we can't say the other one. 1245 West Fullerton Avenue. And yeah, there's other details on there. But if you guys have questions, you can feel free to ask.
What were they? You said they were 22. Were they a student, or did they go to school as well?
There's nothing on the file. That's
Nothing on the file.
So you'd assume not.
Okay, so okay. I'm trying to think.
Both their parents, all of them had parents
Who
also
died.
dead.
Yeah, parents who died.
Was he a college student?
You should
Yeah,
just ask
it
that.
doesn't. Yeah,
doesn't
it
appear
doesn't
to be.
say anything.
Was there any connection between these two? Did they know each other in some way?
You You can't see that from the files necessarily, but it doesn't look like it. Other than they live in a condensed area. It looks like Anne Dingo's trying to lock down the location, that area, and there's a lot of investigation going there. There are also
Stepping
police
back-
officers kind of like locking streets down and things of that sort.
Stepping back on like an out of game vision, I think the thing to do is talk to the roommate. I don't know that Agatha would come up with that necessarily. Like Lisa Beth's roommate.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
Time of
We know
death, by
Avery
the
would
way.
too.
Yeah. Time of death, by the way.
303 for both of them.
303. 'cause
303 at the same time.
and I was like, I'm thinking that the time of death for both is the same. 303 in the morning. Turns
that
off the tape
makes
recorder.
sense from
Central
when
standard,
I was
obviously.
woken.
I was gonna say, what time did all the things happen with you all last night? 303?
That's what it said on a clock at some point. I have it in my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
too.
Only
was
person that
the cl- it was
experienced
the
that
clock in my
was Agatha.
room.
Agatha. So you experienced it at the potentially at the time of it happening.
303 was when Lisa Beth appeared to me to guide me to see the next body. Yes.
I don't want to ask this question because it doesn't. Anyway, Agatha, does 303 have some sort of, significance?
I think Agatha's been racking her brains for the last little while while people have been going around in the like circle of who knows who and what and where, for like the significance of the time, the significance of the age of the victims when they
Mhm.
went through this like disaster,
Mhm.
the kind of thing that might prey on someone for like or watch them for years,
Mhm.
like we're talking about something that's connected to them from a disaster like previously.
Mhm.
And like the death of parents and the that sort of stuff, trying to like figure out if there's anything she can come up with that is related to all of those like factors.
Yeah. Time and age. When things align to be similar, you found that there are a lot of rituals that require this,
Mhm.
or it makes them stronger. Like
Yeah,
it will make the ritual stronger.
I think there's a little bit of like
There's a lot of creatures that will prey on these type of things. And in regards to like death of parents, that's a very big trauma. And sometimes that can cause a lot of emotions and feelings. And there are a lot of creatures that like to eat or devour or consume those type of feelings.
I think
It's sustenance.
from
It can,
what I
it can make
from
us
what I-
something stronger.
from what I know, time, trauma, distance, these kinds of things, like all of this is related to the strengthening of the power of the significance of the killing or the consuming, since we don't have any blood, of victim. Ritual often requires waiting to a certain time or doing things in a meticulous way, and lots of unknowable entities are bound to the rules of such a thing. If there are other people who match this profile of trauma, then they're in danger, palpable danger.
I wonder if there's a way for us to I don't know the fastest way for us to find people of this type of category. There's just so
don't-
many people in Chicago.
But I don't think that's the right question. Instead, I think the right question is not how do we find someone who has this profile, but how does someone who's looking for someone
Find
Find-
these people.
and this is the medical examiner's office. When people die, it has to be registered. So maybe, and I was thinking maybe at first like an adoption agency or something like this, but when people die, it has to be reported. Um, Searching databases for people who've had both parents killed, death of parents in maybe our databases, especially if, because this one here, this is not, none of these are criminal, although there would probably be an initial report with the police as well, but they would certainly come through here. So police, medical examiner's office, looking for, so if I
While
would
the
want to
three
search.
of them have all been talking, and Dr. Cologne is kind of like stammering on, Avery, you are searching, right? You're hacking the Gibson, you're in. And what you find is that you're like, we're not looking for the trauma necessarily. We're looking for the time. You look at it and you realize they were both 8 when this happened. They're both 22 now. You kind of look at the years, you do the math, you figure out, I know exactly the year I'm looking for. It's currently 2018. So what would that put as? I don't know, I'm like,
2004, right?
yeah, you're looking for an incident that happened in 2004 with the death of 2 parents, potentially, or death of parents, right?
Two-parent
that
death.
would leave a kid as a
A sole survivor, a sole heir. A ward
Also,
of the
something
state.
that you're all aware of is that both of these were single children. They were not kids who had siblings, right? The other side of it is also that Agatha, you realize that there's, I mean, you all deciphered this. You have fire, water. You're looking for something earth
and
something air oriented. And I think you all were down the same line. So this kind of like narrows down the selection that you're looking for. And there's one other thing that all of you have noticed as well. 303.
Yep.
When Avery starts looking over the files, Elena as well, the two of you realize the parents also died at 303.
Yeah.
So now you're looking for a case where something earth air oriented happened to a child who's about 8 years old in 2004. And that narrows down your searches quite a bit.
Airplane crashes at 3:03 a.m.
Or
brute
tornado,
force
deaths
it.
in tornadoes or earthquakes. And Avery, could you just see if anyone else has been making searches like this?
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually check to see who. So when I access a page, I can probably see who last accessed it. That's one of the way a lot of these police databases work.
I think
Or maybe change.
Agatha's in a place that's like something has been planning this for like 14 years or what have you, and whatever it is going to be a really big problem because stuff that planned stuff for 14 years, like waiting for the payoff, isn't exactly
Yeah. So I think for Agatha, you're probably going to want to do some studying, like looking up what kind of creature would this be, right? It does
Yeah,
narrow it
definitely.
down a little bit for you to specifically rituals that would require the 4 elements, that would require these timings, or maybe make something stronger with having these elements involved in it, as far as like time, age, and like these deaths, these traumatic.
Can I preparedness to have my like book of magics with me to
How many
like,
preparedness points do you
I
have?
have 8 preparedness.
Hell
so
yeah. Use
uh,
2. Use
I
2.
always have what I want.
I think this will require 2 different books, and you'll see why.
That's-
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So
Yeah.
she
Mark off
takes
2.
out she takes out the first book, and I mark off 2. Yeah.
Perfect. And then for Elena, you do know that you have access to the case files, or for the cold case files. Do you want to look up
Yeah.
those?
I was thinking, I'm going to look into that just to see if anything pops up. Yeah.
And Avery, you're going to search for the body, or you're going to narrow
See
down the search
people's-
for who's the next victim, right?
Yeah.
And what would you like to do, Dr. Cologne?
I'm hoping that everyone might also look for who might have been searching for that information, so we might be able to find.
Okay, and you
Who
would
the-
know, and you're gonna assist with that because you'll know who that
Yes,
person is.
yeah.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, perfect.
Because somebody has to find the victims. Like now Aggie's like they've probably been planning this since 8, but I'm thinking they might have been doing the same kind of searches that we're doing, and which means they probably have to have access to our databases.
Yep,
So let
I
me
gotcha.
help with
Yeah.
that one.
Just for sake of time, because I know we do have to wrap up, and I do want to have a good end scene here too. We'll start with Elena going to get the cold case files.
Mhm.
Elena, when you get down there, are you gonna look up on the computer, or are you gonna go straight to the files?
I'm
in
gonna
the
go
room?
straight to the files that she sent me to.
Let me look at your list of investigation abilities.
I probably don't have. I mostly have academic and
Yeah, research is kind of the one that you really want for this.
Yeah. which I have none in.
Yeah, which means you won't be able to really do it is ultimately, but you could bring some stuff back.
Okay.
Unless
Could I?
does anyone have research? I think is it just
Oh, yeah, it's Avery.
I don't. I have no research. I look at bodies, not the past.
I have it. Sometimes they have a variant of Gumshoe too, where you can pool and. Throw
Could
them
I, or yeah, potentially bribe somebody since I have good interpersonal skills? Get like
That's
another,
Mhm,
get an
Yeah.
out.
intern.
Flirt with the
yeah.
researcher.
Intern, Get
Okay.
the intern.
we won't RP it, but that's how you
Yeah.
get this information.
Yeah,
I love
I
it. Okay,
bribe
perfect.
somebody
I'm
to
just
help
like, ooh,
me.
how can I was thinking along. I was actually
I'm
moving
more
down
of a
into
talker. Yeah,
I was
than
actually
I
in
am-
that spot because I was like, ooh, she's got cop talk. Maybe we can do that.
mhm,
Okay, perfect.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're able to talk someone else into assisting you with this, and it turns out that you find 4 cold cases that have not been solved, and these are 80 years ago, and they match. You have four people with the different tattoos. Um, their situations were a little different. And yeah, you can bring back all those files. You basically have 4
Okay.
things. You actually have to bring like a trolley. You have to put them on because it's too heavy.
I will bribe somebody to help me bring the trolley back to the
Yeah.
office too. 'Cause I
Yeah.
can do it myself.
Avery, the
Yeah.
door opens, but it's not just Elena that's there. It's her and like some other person that you don't know. And they help slide the thing in, and then they close the door, and Elena's there.
Yeah,
with you.
just put it right there, Sal. Thanks. You can leave
Rewind.
it in the corner there.
Rewind. Agatha, you're looking through your
Yeah, like in the medical examiner's office, like, just immediately in a panic takes her book out and starts reading through, looking for any clues.
Yeah, you're looking through and reading your books, and Avery and Dr. Cologne, you're kind of typing, so we hear flipping of pages, we hear typing on the keyboard, and Avery, and you're looking for next body. Okay. Whew. The next person that is on the list is Ima Dyson. That you're thinking, Avery. She is 22 years old. She had an incident where her family died in a plane crash, and she was 8 years old when this happened. She currently lives with her grandmother. And it looks like she works at it's like a train station ticket booth
Mm-hmm.
at the Metro, which is like kind of almost the center of Chicago. It's like this big Metro station.
I can imagine we might be able to figure out the order of the victims by looking at the order of the victims from the cases from 80 years ago. That if like fire came first and then
Yeah.
came water and then like figure out like, oh, if this is like the order that they died in 80 years ago, this
It
might
does
be the
seem
order.
like
Yeah.
this is following that same trend. And then the person who last looked at this file is Brian Trippo.
Brian Trippo.
Mhm.
What do we know about Brian?
Dr. Cologne knows the most about them, and potentially Elena. This is a bit of a troublemaker in the office. They it seems like they're always there at work during work hours, but it doesn't ever seem like they're actually getting work done.
most important question, though. Have they ever come to trivia night? No. I bet the answer is no, huh?
Has anyone ever come to trivia night before the night before?
No. No.
Okay, there you have
But
your
still,
answer.
though.
But still, yeah.
Someone was like, I hope it's Betty.
This is, I think, investigative procedure. But while this is going on, like, I'm still thinking about Brian, and I imagine Elena probably has a way better read on Brian as a human being than I do. I would like to use my investigative procedure to look through those.
You're definitely he's a troublemaker. He doesn't really get stuff done, but he's always doing stuff. So you're like, what
Yeah.
does he do? You don't actually know what Brian does. What does that person do?
Yeah. But I think I want to use investigative procedure to go through those cold cases, not for internal details. I mean, like, if I notice anything, that's fine, but more I'm looking for names and faces that might echo, right? Like for example, is like the investigating officer like the grandchild of the last investigating officer?
No,
You know,
there's nothing
just
like
trying
that.
to find any kind of like connections between them.
They're
like
80 years
locations.
ago, so most of the people involved in that case are dead.
That's great.
80 years ago.
That's a good thing to know, because I
They're
would
dead.
be sad if that were not the case. But like locations, like, okay, same, like just kind of try to figure out like where the bodies for, like kind of like a little like the map board sort of situation where
Yeah.
see if there might be location.
You're looking at
similarities.
pictures and stuff like that. I think that's great. Who has photography? Does any of you have photography?
I don't think so.
Perfect, Agatha. Oh, that's gonna be great. Okay, so Agatha, you're looking
I
up
might
your.
have it. I do.
Avery has it too.
You do,
yeah.
Avery? Okay. Ooh, actually, that'll work good too. Yeah, Dr. Cologne is like pulling out these pictures and looking at them. And Avery, you're typing away. Elena, she's looking through the cold case files. And Agatha, you're looking at your books that you just like propped up now and have been folding and looking. It took you a little while to look, but in regards to, you're looking for what type of creature would do this, right? You limit it down. For the first book kind of gets you what type of spells would, or rituals or things of that sort, would be using these elements. You already kind of knew in advance that you were dealing with elements, so you kind of already had like one of your occult books there, which is like the Book of Elements, Spells, and You. And you kind of flip through it, and you do find there are quite a few spells, but you're looking for something that involves these in a specific order. You're looking at something that is powered potentially and makes it stronger by having these elements of like emotion, parallel times, like things like that.
Yeah.
And as you're looking through it, you do find the spell potentially that this could be.
Ooh.
It is an immortality spell of some sort. It doesn't give you like life forever, but for a prolonged time. Now, things that can make it stronger are having things aligned, perfectly aligned, like the star alignment, the things like that, like the
So this is
moon
like-
and the
this
sun
would
being in the perfect place. So the time being exactly right is good. Like 303, you have the moon and the sun kind of like there at the same time. You have the element of emotion. So the more emotion that is involved in these spells, the stronger it's going to be. And so that's the spell that you're kind of like narrowing it down to. You flip through the other book. Now, this book is the type of creatures that would want a longer life. And this is a large book. This is probably the one that's going to take you the most time to dwindle it down. But really what touches it is how these people died, the blood,
Yeah, the lack of blood.
the fact that they needed blood. And you find a creature in there that is called the Dhampir.
Mm.
They need blood to survive. But this type, you would think that normally this would be like, oh, you hear about like vampires and things like that, and they live forever.
They live
but
an
do they
immortal life.
really?
Yeah, but do they really? Good
Yeah.
question.
In this universe, maybe not. And so you find yourself kind of going down this line of like what could potentially be, and these are the two that are interlocking for you.
Yeah, she notes like both down and makes sure that she can like refer to the specifics of each, like getting all the details basically. and then like shuts the books and tucks them back away in her very deep pockets. It's like, you know,
As you're doing that, Avery, Dr. Cologne pulls out like an image, a picture. You're looking at it, and you go, wait. You grab the picture and you look at it. Isn't that
My
Brian?
Avery High C. Brian.
Dr. Cologne, Elena, you look at
In
the
the-
picture 80 years ago. There he
In the
is. Dressed a
book.
little differently, looks a little different, but he's got that grin.
Oh, that's definitely him. He looks a little
What is he
different.
doing in this photograph? Like, who is he? Like,
He's
who-
just kind of like he's standing there doing nothing, but he looks like he's doing something.
This is
And it's like an old kind of like black and white photo. And you can see like police cars and some other
Is
people
this
kind of
a-
standing around.
original or replica?
I think from what I've just found, it might be original, and we might
Mhm.
have the guy.
As
Um,
a person who knows photography well, Avery, this is a photo. This is not
Yeah.
faked.
Yeah. I was going to come to that conclusion one way or another, because I think we're actually dealing with a vampire in this horror game, or a dampier. So, or it's a false front. Yeah. So this is very clearly. This is big. We got to find Brian.
Where is he now? Do I?
just wait, because it's a little much. Is he identified in that photograph with a name?
No. There's
Is
no like
he-
it's not like written on there. No, but you
No,
can see
but
all
I
the
mean,
people.
like, is him in this photograph? Does he look like a lab tech, a medical examiner, a forensic person? Like, if he's in the photograph,
he looks like he's similar to what he is now, but you don't know what he
I'd say-
does.
That's what I was
you've
gonna
still
say.
never known what he's done. Like
He
he's worked at the same
works-
office as you guys, and you're like,
Yeah.
I always see that guy. He's always
Yeah.
fucking with people, but I don't know what he does. But he always looks like he's doing something. Who's
Okay.
that guy?
he's got some of that sweet obfuscation going on. That's what's happening.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Avery, could you maybe this is somewhat making sure there's no
That's what I'm saying.
here.
I'm like, where is he? we should probably leave. Like,
He's inside.
could you maybe check his personnel records to find out when he started work here, and then maybe if someone left work before?
Yeah, here's what I'll tell you how I would handle it. Avery would look for first employment history and then time
You
logs.
look at
This is
you,
something that
you
checks
look
in or
at
out.
you look at his history, Avery, and it does say that he started probably 3 years ago. That he was a college student. He's very young looking. He looks like he's 22. You
Probably
do see on
replace
his
a guy that looked
profile
just like him.
page that he is 22. You can see his birthday. You can see his current address that's on there. His next of kin, things like that. You do see that on his like employee profile. What was the other thing? There's something else I was going to give you from that. But here's the kicker. Because you're hacking in and you yourself are quite a hacker, you realize someone has edited this file and done it very well to not get caught.
Am I able to? I've done this before, so it's not impossible. Am I able to discern the alterations that were made?
Yeah, it looks like the starting time, his name, his age, his everything on there has been edited. Like this person
Everything.
didn't exist until it was put in here.
Hmm.
I have worked here longer than 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do I remember him starting? Like, do I remember? Like, does this timeline in the files
No,
match up with what I remember?
no,
Do I remember him being here before I got here?
yes.
Okay.
but kind
I
of.
go, kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
It's like a weird
yeah.
feeling, like you're like, I feel like I did, but maybe I didn't. Like, it's that you have like a weird
I
feeling.
get that.
Yeah.
Got some memory issue going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
And
you know.
this says he only started here 3 years ago, but I remember
Ava
him.
knows nothing about memory loss.
No, but I remember him being here before then. I think he's been working here for a while.
I want to confront him.
Wait,
Yeah, Agatha's like holding her hands up, like no. This is not a person, like not in the way that you understand what people are. This is a creature.
It doesn't. He's just like this lazy guy, though. He just never. How could he be something beyond?
wait, what does he do here?
Exactly.
As they're all
It's
asking
not
these
fair to
questions,
always
Avery.
judge a book by its
No,
cover.
Like,
as they're all
flops
asking these
open.
questions, Avery, and you're looking at the photo, you have a moment where in the photo, you're staring at it. Brian starts looking like a darkness. There's just a hole in the photo, and then you like look at it closer and closer, and you can see the teeth again. You're like holding the picture and it's shaking. Your hands start shaking. And immediately, it's almost like you see red eyes above the mouth with the jagged teeth, and it winks at you.
Whether or not we seek to confront him, he has confronted us.
Roll me a stability check.
Can I spend points on stability, or is it just a straight roll?
Yeah, you could spend points on stability.
I'm
You got
going to-
refreshed, right?
I did.
You should be
I'm
max.
going. All right, so I'm gonna spend 3. So it's 26 plus 3. I hope I get another condition. It's like, not only does he this. Okay, it's a good thing I spent points. I got a 5.
All right, you lose 1 more, so you're down to 2. You keep yourself together.
Yeah, I reach for my new smokes. I don't
Um,
think I'm supposed to smoke in here, but just
Barely, but you are definitely shaking. You lost an extra one there.
oh,
And y'all are like asking these questions
Yeah.
and kind of like being all fun, and then all of a sudden you just see Avery like losing his shit.
I probably feel this immediately, and I just. Avery,
yes, Elena, Miss Miller.
did you? I sense that you're not okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of telegraphing that quite a bit, but
Maybe we should.
I'm pretty fucked right now. Apologize for the language. I am screwed. This is all eyes are on me, and I'm not referring to this group. He knows.
Do you like hold up
What?
the picture and you're like, he knows?
He knows.
How?
I promise you, he is the presence that robbed me, burgled my abode last night.
You
I
look
can feel
around,
it.
Avery. Up in the corner is another camera. You can feel it looking at you.
I'm gonna point at the camera. I'm gonna say he's watching.
Maybe we should take this back to Agatha's or something. If he is actually watching,
Maybe we should not say where we're going to go if he's watching.
maybe we should take this to.
Let's go to my place.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious if he's watching us.
Let's just it's lunchtime.
Get lunch.
I always get a big hunger after dissecting a body, and I'm gonna finish up my notes.
Orlando's a killer. No.
So the 4 of you kind of wrap up, start picking up your containers, things like that. And the plan is to go to, in quotations, lunch. What is the
Mhm.
real plan? Out of character, I know we don't have a lot of times. We have like 30 minutes to wrap things up.
Are
So
we planning
what
to
would you like to
confront
do?
this person or not? Basically, I think.
Yeah.
I want to try to catch him in his next act.
So just
I
to
recommend using me
recap,
as a bait.
or using Avery's
you
bait.
do know who the next victim is.
Yes, we do.
Emma
Yes, we do.
Jackson.
Um,
You know that it's been happening 303
Mhm.
every day in a row. You
Yeah.
know the order in which
Yep.
they go.
I feel like we have enough to catch him in the act.
Perhaps we can catch them before the act, and maybe get the police involved. Maybe with that. Is that
Probably wise, but if we tell them that we know that there's some vampiric killer
well,
who
we don't say that part? Maybe.
No, but
here's-
if we mention what we're doing to the authorities, the assumption is that he knows the things the authorities know.
I would
Oh.
true.
I would contact Officer Bill, because Bill knows this is weird and out of the ordinary, and I would contact Anna Dingo because she's familiar with the case, and I would just say, this is our prediction. They either go for it or they don't. But I think those are the two people we could trust on the
Yeah.
inside.
You could definitely dump that on them.
Yeah.
So Elena, do
probably
you want to kind of
In
relay
person,
that
not
information?
by phone, just in case. I don't know how hacking works.
I could go to the office, yeah, and tell them in person. Yeah, give them the whole run. Not the vampire part, but the fact that we know that there's a killer 303. It's all connected with family dying and yeah. So
Suspect Brian Trippo.
yeah, Brian is the suspect.
Just before we do that, I would feel real much better if we could find some sort of connection that seems not supernatural between Brian and the 80 years ago. Like, if there's like I mean, let's just say, for example, that you live forever. Let's say, then presumably you have to you probably want to keep your assets over time. So you probably have some sort of inheritance thing, cheating with taxes or something like this. So maybe Brian's grandfather existed, or great grandfather,
I see
and then we could
Yeah.
say that as a connection to them.
that it's some family connection, right?
Yes, something,
Yes, I can come up with a story along those lines.
or some sort of inheritance, something. I imagine you probably don't want to give up your house if you live forever. I bet they own a house. And like, this is clear, like, these are kind of like, these are like, it's not exactly grasping at straws, but it's sort of like, I have to find a way to explain to people who are
don't
regular
understand
people
the-
who don't
the-
understand.
Yep.
Yeah. But also maybe we
Supernatural.
find out something about we might be able to find some, like, for example, where Brian lives, or
Yeah, you could definitely probably find that information potentially. There is an address on there on the profile page that Avery had, but who knows if it's like
yeah.
legit. Avery can see that it's clearly this is not real information. It's hacked. Okay, so recap to me what you all want to do. I know Elena is going to talk to Anne.
Officer, yeah.
Yeah,
and
because you have connections with her. Basically, you can just be like, "Hey, I did my research. Here's what I'm seeing.
Here's what
They're-
we found.
You're gonna
Yeah.
blow their mind.
Yeah.
And what do the rest of you want to do while Elena's doing that?
So I think Agatha's plan, it isn't often you run into an actual, truly, definitely supernatural situation. So I think her plan is to be present when the next like bad thing is about to go down, the next murder is about to happen. Like
Okay.
her plan, and she expresses this to everybody. I think she's not willing to keep it a secret or anything. But she wants to follow the the victim who's like upcoming, quote unquote.
I'm a
Um,
Dyson. I mean,
and-
I'm a Dyson.
Yeah. And then be
Do you like that? I saw that name on the list and I was like,
Yes.
this is perfect.
and then be present to catch.
thank you, Patreon.
Trippo in the act.
Okay.
Or at least like be ready to confront him personally.
I want Agatha to tell us how we fight a thing that's a Dampier. I don't
That's
know
where
what
I
that
thought you were
is.
gonna go.
That
Yeah, 'cause-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know, but what do they like? What is one? What is a Dampier? And information? Just like
I
And
assume
I
you
think
all want to be there
yeah.
when this thing is captured,
Yes.
right?
And I think, or depending, like, I don't know how they work, but if we could maybe find their lair, because we have some time before 303, if we
Mhm.
could find out where they are before the murder, we might be able to catch them
Yeah, it's like probably 1
unawares.
p.m. right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
so Elena's going to do that. Agatha's going to do a little research and wants to be involved. What does Avery and Dr. Cologne want to do?
I would like to sort of like assist with Avery, maybe trying to find where, see if we could track down where Brian Trippo might actually live. Because we know that we're looking for some kind of chain of custody over at least 80 years, maybe longer. So if we could find out where Brian Trippo lives, we might be able to go to Brian Trippo before the
Okay,
murder.
so you want to find out where
That's-
he lives. Perfect.
Well, and here's how Avery might think about it, which is a little different. Could find out where he lives,
Mhm.
or where he's been recently.
Yeah.
Because people might in, and
Okay.
it's just like, hey, have you seen
Yeah.
Brian? Where was he last? And then just try to where he lives is associated with that. It's like we got to find him and see
Yeah.
if we can intercept him at some point.
Because
where
maybe
he's
we
going.
can get him when he's not ready for it. Because
Okay.
I presume he'll be ready for a murder at 303. But if we get the info from Agatha and we can find out where he is, we might be able to take it to him.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, Elena, you drop off the paperwork, and you tell Anne basically what your theory is. Everyone is actually in shock. You have the whole police office like just boggled. You are like a prodigy. Even Anne, who is like the lead detective, she's solved a lot of cases, is just in shock at like how quickly you were able to turn this around. You see them kind of like changing everything. They're redirecting everything. There's police officers getting stationed trying to figure out. There's some researchers trying to figure out where is Brian Trippo, trying to find out his history, trying to find out like what he's done, who his parents are, basically anything that they could find out about this person. And then also I'm a Dyson, or Emma Dyson. You guys got me saying that. And trying to see where she is, what her current location is. They're trying to find her in order to like get her before something bad happens. So all of this is now in play whilst as you're leaving the office. Agatha, do you want to spend another point to say that you have another book?
Why not? Like,
Sure.
I mean, I got them. We're
Spend
near
it.
the end. Let's spend them.
And if we could get that fourth victim too, just in case Brian decides to switch it up, like that might be nice to make sure the fourth victim also they know about that person too.
Don't have the info on the fourth victim yet,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, you at least know who the third victim is. And Agatha, you kind of pull out one of your other books. You're like, didn't think I would need this. Maybe you were just reading that one for leisure because Dampires.
It was the backup book.
Yeah,
for
Dampers are
sitting at
nice, and like
bus
sometimes you
stops
just want to
and
have
so
like a little
forth.
reading book. Here you basically find out that this is going to be very difficult. These are not people. These are not creatures that are easy to kill. There are ways to stake them and keep them in like what is called torpor, so that they can't do anything, but they're just laying there, kind of like almost like stone. It looks like, depending on the type of stake that you use, some things won't hurt them and some things will. But the
think-
goal here is to stake them in the heart, ideally. They also have some shape shifting elements to them, and perhaps that's why they were shape shifting. So there might be that you have to worry about. They also have the power to like make people believe things that they wouldn't normally, and then the other side of it is make people forget things that they would never want to forget.
I think Agatha's like, after doing the research and like presenting it to the group, Agatha's suggestion is like, I don't know that we can take them on, so to speak, but we do know where they have to be, wherever the next victim is, if they want to complete their spell. If they wait, or if they fail to meet with her and perform their task at 303, then we've already succeeded in what we need from this, which is to stop them from killing these folk. It's really dangerous. I won't lie. This is a bit beyond even my usual expertise. But essentially, if we get into a situation where we have to fight, stake to the heart's the only thing that's gonna do it.
Wait, Dampier, is that just another mystical word for vampire? Are they the same thing? I mean, are vampires real? Vampires are not real.
Dampiers generally have more of an ability to walk in the sunlight than vampires do.
Okay, so you're telling me that vampires are real. This is what you're telling me right now.
Yes. You didn't already know. Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
You're in Chicago. Duh.
So, I've heard about Chicago. So,
Agatha's definitely had some like interactions with vampires in a bad way at some point. You know what I mean? Like, like, oops, I saw something I shouldn't have, and that's probably what,
my only relation to vampires in Chicago are those Layla books. But okay. Okay, so if the ritual does not go through, does the Dampier die?
Not necessarily, but they won't have their ritual for everlasting life completed, and they need to do that once every 80 to 100 years, which is the pattern that we're seeing. So presumably they'd be in a really bad position for, continuing that trend. It isn't so often that such a thing comes around.
And almost simultaneously as the police officers find the location of Brian Trippo, so does Avery, whilst the two of you are kind of having this conversation. It appears that he's in a, I don't know how to call it. It's basically like a control room in an apartment, like a security room in like a fancy apartment in Chicago.
He sounds like a creeper. Just noting it. Just
Yeah,
noting
maybe.
it. Not to be judgmental or anything, but
So I'm going to let the others know that we've locked on.
Yeah, it's called the Montrose Apartments. And it is
He's in Montrose.
Yes, it's at 4334 North Hazel Street.
Hey, if the police go to arrest him, will he kill them?
Possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Or he might allow himself to be taken in and he can endure questioning and get out. Maybe he can beguile them and trick them into letting him go. Maybe
I've seen that in movies.
Yeah.
There are a lot more efficient ways to maintain secrecy while also not killing dozens of police officers for such a creature.
So how do we stop this creature that is murdering people all the time and also knows where Avery lives?
Like
which I don't like.
Stake to the heart. It's the only way to do it.
Do they? Okay. Well, how do we do that?
And Elena,
I
you're
use
able
all my
to-
preparedness points and I reveal my crossbow stake. No.
I mean, you do have it.
Mm.
You did put a lot of things in that
Yep.
that duffel bag, so I will allow it.
It's all right.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I do.
I love that you.
It's
just
actually the
have that,
vampire.
yes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
I'm like, was that for that LARP you were doing?
Is your LARP?
Bought it at a
I can tell you what
convention 10 years
Bought it-
ago.
No, here's what we did. Went to sporting goods and it's like, yeah, I'm looking to get into hunting. Then I went to the camping section and got some wooden stakes, and then I filed it down so we could notch it in, and it's a little whittling. Good to go. Good thing I didn't drop out of Weeblos and Cub Scouts. Teach you how to kill vampires.
And Elena, you are with them now at
Okay.
the place where everyone's having lunch.
Yeah.
Cool.
which is not a place that not Avery's place.
It's probably about 6 p.m. when everybody kind of comes
Gets
together. And also, Elena, you know that they have found the location, and Avery, you just found it as well.
Okay, so they're at the apartments, or the police.
Well, they're headed. Yeah, everyone's
Okay.
rolling out.
I'll let everybody know the police are on their way. They found that he is at those apartments, and
They started
They're on
with
their
lunch,
way.
you guys, and then they just stayed there. This is like the coffee place all over again.
Look, if you said that they could, this Dampier could get out of these things, then they probably will. But then I'm at Dyson should probably be safe. But are there other people? I mean, I just am afraid that there's going to be a murder at 303, and I don't know what.
I think you're right. We could there if he knows that there is even an inkling of we're onto him or they get to him, he might go for the other victim.
Can't just change the order of a spell like that. That's not how this works.
Or
It
he
has to
do it in
be
the order.
her.
Yeah.
It has to be her.
Or someone else who's from the same age and time, also with air. Is there anyone else? If there's no one else, then we might be
someone
safe.
whose parents died at 303 14 years ago in Chicago right now in an air disaster. It's this person. That's the only person.
Okay.
Avery confirms that is the only person that meets
Okay.
that description.
So we just have to keep her safe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We could move her and put a decoy
police have
body
her.
in.
The
Oh,
police have her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The police are on
Elena,
their way to
Wait.
get her to safety as well.
Wait. If the police have her and they're going to pick up him, that means that she and he will be in the same. They'll put her somewhere else, right?
Darn!
Yes.
Same
Bring the
room.
victim to them.
Like,
That'd be
here-
so
here's your.
weird.
But what if you
Here's
have
your
beguiling? I
here's your
don't know.
dinner.
Here's
Dr.
your dinner.
Cologne.
He might be able to social engineer it. You never know. It's one of those things.
If this is what we think it is, it might be unpredictable, but the police are going to take her to safety. They're not going to take her to the same place.
Okay.
It depends on how dirty the cops are. Not to digress, but it depends. Sometimes they might be
You're-
like, you were going to kill them, and I've seen them do it. I watch a lot
You all
of.
are so paranoid.
Yeah. You were going to kill this person as they bring her right to him. Admit it. All right.
I love that
Um,
Dr. Clone's freaking out about it. And that's where he goes.
He's like,
Oh.
but what if they're in the same room?
Or the same building? I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched the Terminator one time, and he was at the. There was a whole thing there with the shooting in the Terminator. Okay.
Anything that disrupts this spell by even a minute will make it pointless to
That's
kill her.
true. That's very true.
So, out of character, what would you all like to do next?
Crossbow the vampire.
Crossbow the vampire.
Vampire.
Okay. Crossbow.
Okay,
That's-
but they're both in police custody, right?
Yeah,
The-
that'll be
No.
problematic.
Oh, no.
the
Easier.
Dampire is not yet.
Okay,
They're like when Elena arrived,
Yeah.
she was like, they're rolling out to this
Then I
location.
guess-
She gives you the location.
Then I guess we're going there.
Oh,
Let's
Dr. Clone is very nervous. He's like, if we kill someone with a crossbow and then the police come, we're going to be arrested.
Yes.
But they don't know what they're dealing with.
That's also true.
They're in more trouble than we are if they find him first.
Oh,
Self-defense. I have a wound on me.
oh, oh.
It's okay. I think this is not a good idea either, but I think we should do it.
Oh,
No, well,
I
here,
think-
let's out of character for a second. Let me back up.
Yeah.
Because every now and then I get a mind stuck in my head where I'm going to crossbow a vampire.
Yeah.
Might not be good for the game. What would everyone like to do?
I think it's about timing.
Yeah.
Is it possible? But also, it's in a safe room. It's in a safe room. I think Dr. Kuhn would ask, like, is there a way that you can hack that safe room in some way to harm the Dampier?
No.
Well, here's what I would try to do. set his clocks back an hour. Maybe daylight saving screws him up instead of us.
Oh,
The real savior of this daylight saving.
Daylight savings time.
Oh boy.
It's tough. Elena, like realistically, when the police, like she would think it's in the police's hands.
Yeah.
So like,
Do you want the police just to get him? Like that is an option. So I just want to know what your guys' plan is. I have crossbow him to death. That's the only one I have on the list so far. So what's the other option?
I don't think that Agatha is confident that we can just like fight a Dampier. Like
Yeah.
knowing the most, I think, about this than the others. She's not confident about that. But what she is confident about is that the police having the victim in custody means that there will be at least a minute delay. You know what I mean? In like
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's go ahead.
I think that Dr. Cologne would not want to go to the scene of the crime and then commit a murder before the police just walk in, because that seems unwise. But concerned about this whole beguiling thing, because I've seen Love at First Bite, like that happens. Then maybe like we could do a stakeout to see whether or not they release.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe
keep
we
our
can-
eyes on it.
We can keep an eye on the situation from
Yeah.
a distance.
Because
Let
here's
the police handle it.
know that Avery in his heart of hearts doesn't feel they can actually kill the Dampier, but
No,
we might
no.
delay it by getting into a tussle.
Yeah, so let's go to the scene and try to, watch what happens and make sure that, he does get into custody safely.
And then if he's released before the time of the murder, which hopefully will not happen,
Then we stake him.
then we have to reassess, right? Like,
I think that's the plan, Maggie.
So you're gonna drive and watch what happens.
Mm-hmm.
and in
Yes.
case we need to do something, then we're there on the scene. But hopefully it'll be fine.
You arrive, the police are already there since you guys took so long to chat and discuss
We
things.
contemplated way too long.
You
Yeah.
see that there's the Montrose. It's like this tall building. It doesn't look that fancy from the outside, but you know that the rooms are supposedly pretty nice on the inside. It is oceanfront or lakefront view. You can see like the lake out there. It's massive. It's beautiful. You can see that they're all surrounding are all kinds of police cars. There's some SWAT vehicles. Did I lose anybody? Okay. Saw some people froze. I think you guys were all just staying very still.
Listening.
We're listening intently.
Yeah, it looks like there are maybe some police officers already in the building, and then there's a bunch of people kind of like outside waiting to see what happens. Because you guys arrived late, you do see as they're coming out the door, two groups of officers who are in SWAT gear, basically, and you see him right there. Brian Trippo, the troublemaker. He's smiling. He's not in cuffs. He's walking casually. The officers next to him also walking casually out. Actually, you can kind of see for a moment, Elena, they look happy. There's some laughing. You can tell that maybe there's a joke that had occurred. And Agatha, your eyes stare straight forward. And you see what looks like a police shootout, but it looks like the police are shooting at the other officers.
No.
And in this vision, you can see him. It's almost like he's looking right at you, and he smiles with his teeth, and the eyes turn red, and he winks at you. And then you're back, and you can see that the officers are standing there. They're all walking. The door opens again.
I think it's just like, this isn't gonna go well. Those officers are gonna siege the police station where the victim is.
let's get the victim now.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
The
Yep.
victim?
Or the soon-to-be victim,
So in front of you, you can see the Brian and the police officers and the other police officers that the other police officers are going to shoot. The victims
Oh.
currently are the police officers.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Got
Like
it.
you just saw a premonition of what's going to happen moments from now.
Okay, moments from now. I thought you
Yeah.
meant like they were gonna take these police officers to the, you know what I mean?
No, they were gonna shoot him.
Okay. I don't. I think there's a moment of like I don't think I can stop this. You know.
Who's on the scene?
You can see the lead detective, Anne, and basically her whole crew of officers. Not the researchers, because they wouldn't be there. They're still back at the office. But the police officers that would be with her are there, as well as you see Bill and like a group of police officers as well.
Can we at this moment go and try and get I'm a Dyson.
She's probably like held somewhere to be kept safe
Yeah.
by the police.
Text Anne and tell her that there's an ambush coming.
Could do that.
Yeah, I would message her and say there's going to be an ambush.
And you have
He knows you're
been
coming.
pretty perfect in all of the predictions that you've had so far. And it is kind of odd that this person's not in handcuffs. And goes over the comms and kind of like tells all the officers something. It's some kind of code. All of them duck, and immediately you see the people with the Dampier all pull out their weapons, start firing. You guys are watching this all happen. None of them get hit because you gave them some warning. And so they're all ducking down, and now there's like this full-on firefight going. Whilst that firefight's going, who has notice here? Anyone with notice? I don't think. Do you have Colin, Dr. Colin? I don't think
I
you
do. I
Okay.
do have one.
I have two.
I remember it being brought up.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone with notice will see Brian trying to sneak away.
We deny that sneak. We cancel it.
How?
You know,
So,
Confront him.
yeah, it's time.
We gotta
to,
go
And
after
Elena,
him,
you are
yeah.
overwhelmed by emotions right now. It is hot
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, Elena just is a little overwhelmed herself.
I've got one shot and one stake.
Give it a try then.
Do it.
I put my hand on Elena's shoulder.
We all
To
jump out of
help
the
make her
car.
feel
my
better.
gosh. All right. Do you have shooting or fire? Like shooting as a skill?
Well, it's not a firearm, but
Wait, hold on,
It's a
hold
homemade
on.
Do you have
device.
shooting as a skill? That's it.
No,
what
we
it will
negotiated
require.
it.
Okay, Avery.
You're like I'm holding it wrong.
What? You've got it like this, and
Ugh.
I think Agatha just like grabs the crossbow from you.
Yes, I'll
Like-
take the wheel.
Yeah.
we crossed over. You're driving, and then I leaned this way.
Yeah.
You leaned that
Oh my
way.
God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ugh.
That's
And I have shooting, so I can take the shot.
All right.
Um,
Shut.
I loved
all
I
your
loved that
points.
though. That's great. It's
So
teamwork
we-
though.
So we roll in as close as we can get with a nice, like, I guess if Avery has driving, then drive the car in close.
I do have driving.
Yeah, there you go, and then fire the crossbow at.
I don't think Avery was driving. It would probably be Dr. Cologne. Oh yeah, it could be Avery.
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah, the two of you were driving.
I'd give emotional support to Elena because she seems to be freaking out.
this is like the most emotions I felt in a
Yeah,
long
like Dr. Cologne's
This
like,
is even
that's something I
better.
could deal with. Goes over and is like consoling Elena to keep her calm. Grant pulls or not Grant, Avery pulls out like a crossbow. He's like, I got one shot. And he's holding it wrong. Agatha's like, give that to me. Takes it from him. Agatha, let's make your shot. You
Okay.
roll
I'm going to
a
use
1d6.
reassurance on everyone, by the way, because I have got the reassurance skill. It's one of my ones.
You don't
and
have
I'm-
to. You don't have to use it.
Just
unless
all the
you have, like,
points.
stability.
Okay,
All the
so
points.
So it's 1d6 plus points, I assume.
Plus whatever
Spend them
you're
all.
whichever shooting points you would like to spend.
I have 5 shooting points. Let's
Woo!
burn the whole pack.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes.
All right. Let's burn them.
And I reassure you all, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Let's go. Let's go.
I rolled a 6. No.
That's like you have to get a 6
Oh, you-
to succeed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Gosh.
gosh.
You
No way.
barely barely get it. Your heart's pumping and racing as you lift up the crossbow, pull the trigger, and you can hear it almost like everything else. I think all of you, your hearts are racing. It's almost like you hear all these firefighting happening around you with guns going back and forth, tinging against cars, buildings, and just we zoom in on the bolt as it goes through and hits him right in the heart. And we just see as his whole body turns to stone and is standing there.
Maybe we won't get in trouble from the police for this one.
Avery, you feel like almost a departing of what you had felt before. Like there was like a part of you, like something was imprinted on you, and it's gone now.
I throw the smokes away. I don't need them anymore. Bad habit.
We did it? Is that he's
I think Agatha's already like hopped out of the car, like opened this, side door and is like running over to where the statue is, basically. Trying to move him.
All the police officers stop firing. It's quiet. Like almost the moment that the bolt hit his chest, just silence from everybody, and even you in the car as you all, take it in. And Agatha, you're running out there?
Yeah. Long layered skirt, green olive army jacket, like crossbow thrown aside, just like sprinting towards this
Sprinting
statue.
towards it.
See if she can like remove the evidence of this person like being here. Like this is a supernatural thing, and if somebody else messes with it, then that's a problem.
Are the three of you following her?
I think
not running.
Not immediately. Like we would as she runs up, then I think Elena would get out of the car and kind of like motion for Orlando to follow.
Is Anne all right?
I think so. I kind of like scan the area and
confusion. There's just mass confusion. Like you're feeling a strong sense of confusion.
Right. I don't see her immediately.
And I think that what I will do is look for my colleagues to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, the two of you, between Elena and you, can both look around. It looks like everyone was not harmed. The warning made sure of that. Yeah.
That's a good call.
Avery, what are you doing as you see Agatha running towards this body of Brian, and you see Dr. Cologne and Elena kind of like walking forward, but it looks more like they're scanning to look around and maybe helping up other officers and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so Avery at this point might be trying. So he's of two minds. The first would be the really cool thing is to run up and check out that stone Brian and get some photos of it, because those are going to be money in the bank when this thing becomes urban legend. The other thing is to try to see if I can locate Ima Dyson to figure out where is she safe.
Okay, so which one are you doing? You have one out. You can't do both.
Yeah. So option A is to actually check out on Ima, make sure she's safe.
Okay. You pull out your laptop. You're gonna have to spend another point of preparedness if you would like to do this. Primarily because you're not at the police station, so it's gonna be harder for you to hack through this.
I can do it.
But utilizing that, you do get in there. You're able to find some information. Looks like she's held in custody, basically in like protective services. So they're like keeping an eye on her. So as far as you know,
to take
she is
samples. Like once we make sure that all of our colleagues are safe, I think I'd like to do a bit of a a medical investigation of that body.
Well, Agatha's going to get there first.
Yeah.
Agatha, what would you
After
like to
that's
do?
done, yeah.
I want to try and move the body because like I don't want anybody but the four of us to like know what went down here
It's
necessarily.
very heavy.
Yeah.
Are you athletic?
I
Roll
have
me an
four. I have
athletic.
4 athletics.
Yeah, roll me an athletic to pick this up and carry
Alright.
it.
I'm gonna burn all my points because I know I'll
How
never
much
see
did you
them
have?
again.
Make sure you keep your
4.
total there
I
too.
had 4.
Okay.
I can help.
8.
Nice.
All right.
I think she's got a lot of adrenaline going through her.
You
right
pick
now,
this
as
up
the
like no problem. Would not expect it, but
tries
you
to
pick it up.
Shoulder,
Where are you taking it
or
to?
like, back to the vehicle. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which vehicle?
The
The ambulance.
so the ambulance.
fit in
Yeah.
the
'cause we can
ambulance,
Put
yeah.
it in the ambulance. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to distract people around. Like if I see her doing this, I'm gonna try to make it so that people don't
no
notice.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
people are distracted. It's very easy for you to like distract them and kind of
Okay.
make way for her. Are you kind of assisting with that, Dr. Cologne, too? Because you're kind of near Elena.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Avery, you see Agatha putting this body in the back of Dr. Cologne's car.
And I'm saying like, really should. I don't know if we should be. I say like, I don't know if we should be moving the body. This evidence, and like as I'm helping,
If you
like,
take, she's like, if you take the stake out, he will wake up. Like,
And she
Oh.
says that's the last line, and the door closes on the back of the ambulance, and the sound of that is the end of our episode, The Parallel Killer. Congratulations!
oh my gosh,
You saved
We
the
solved it.
people. You
We
found the
did.
thing.
Good work. Those premonitions came in clutch.
oh my
I know you
gosh.
have to
A
wrap
lot of
things up
people.
early because I know, Trooper, you have another
Yeah,
thing going,
yeah.
so I just wanted to make sure we had enough time.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
It's not
Really?
that last
Good
comment. If you take the stake out, it will wake back up. Is not ominous at all. Not at all. That is
We
in
can
no way
go for
ominous.
What will happen?
a future episode of some sort, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
we
one
did
of
it.
us, one of us will play the recently awakened Brian Trippo.
Dampier. Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Was
play the other side of
misunderstood.
it. Cool. So we'll go around. We'll say where you can find us at. But first, of course, if you enjoyed this, definitely go support us. Patreon.com/roll for it, where we not only are you helping support us, but you also get some awesome rewards in advance. Or in advance? Why did I say in advance? You also get some awesome rewards in return. That's the words that I'm looking for. We have time zone weirdness. It's still going to be happening. So we'll let you know when that's ending, but it will be ending March 28th, but we'll keep reminding you guys. We have an NPC name post out. Thank you. It looks like Bentham updated it in the middle of the show for me, so I grabbed some names.
Nice.
There's some good ones, so thank you. Thank you for adding those. If you haven't added yours, definitely go add them. And of course, the Ascension Tower Floor GM notes will be coming soon. If you didn't watch Thursday's episode, I highly recommend it. It was a nail biter. Kept me on the edge of my seat. I was going to die. And of course, we have Mass Effect Mercs Chapter 2 coming soon. That will be starting up, I think, April 10th. So if you're interested in checking that out, definitely do so. And I think with that, you can support us on Twitch as well as on YouTube by becoming a subscriber and a member. And if you are either of those, patron, subscriber, or member, you can get access to our lovely Discord where you can chat, where I'm sure there's going to be plenty of discussion about this. Some of you had the right theory, and others not so much. With that, we'll go around. We'll say where people can find them at. We'll kick things off with Dr. Cologne, played by Academic Foxhole. Where can people find you at when you are not giving the best medical advice?
The best medical advice, which is do trivia nights, save the world. I am Trooper SJP, and you can find me on Twitch at Trooper SJP or on Twitter at Academic Foxhole. And I stream the streams and the games, and you can find me in 20 minutes over at Weave the Tale, where I will be GMing Fate of Cthulhu: The Return of Carcosa, and that's in 20. And then you can also find me. What day is today? Today's Saturday. Tomorrow you can find me at 5 p.m. Eastern time for Into the Southlands over on Kobold Press, or at 8 p.m. at Praxagora, the Smophoria, for Romance of the Blue Rose. So I'm doing a bunch of different sorts of things. And my big show is Friday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, over on my channel. I GM a French resistance campaign using Fate that is gritty and emotional. And that is where you can find me. Also, Roll For It is great. Everybody here is great. This entire cast is great. And I have so much joy and fun playing with everybody. The energy that everybody gave, the excitement, it was such a delight. And I maybe one day will come back when Elena is now working at the DA's office with a good power suit, and everything will be fine until those murders start happening again. Oh,
And then it'll be Save Trivia Night, Save the World.
yes.
Someone put that down.
Great
That's so good.
tagline. Great
I like
tagline.
it. All right, moving on from there, we have Agatha Smith, played by Distracted Elf. What are you up to when you're not solving crimes with the cult?
Hello, friends. I'm Distracted Elf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf. I also run a bunch of things for Roll20. I do a lot of GMing stuff for them at the moment. One of those things is a D&D game for Rime of the Frostmaiden, which is finishing soon, I think, on Mondays at 1 p.m. PST on D&D's channel. And then I also do a GM prep stream and the actual game for Star Wars Desperate Gamble on Roll20's channel, Roll20 app, on Thursdays and Fridays. I also released my first thing onto the internet, published thing onto the internet, which is on the DMs Guild, some 5e Warlock content called The Distracted Elf's Guide to Otherworldly Patrons. So check that out if you want. It's pay what you want. You can download it for free off the DMs Guild.
Perfect. And then we have Elena Miller, played by Miss Magitech. What are you up to when you are not sending text messages that save the lives of everyone?
Woo. Hi, everybody. I am Tracy, also known as Miss Magitech, and you can find me all over the internet as Miss Magitech. I'm here on Saturdays for VTM, so I will be here again next Saturday and the following Saturday. So that's yeah. So we'll be wrapping up our season for that very soon too. So it's going to be a very interesting few weeks, going from trying to stop vampires to be, or a Dampier, I guess, and then becoming one. So but other than that, you can find me all over the internet. I play tabletop from Wednesdays to Sundays every day. And then, just follow me and see what I'm up to. So that's me.
Are Dampiers vampires that are just really damp? Like, do they
I always
go to the sauna?
The word Dampier always was so interesting to me. Like, I would have to say it.
Me too.
Yeah, it is a very weird word.
It's like, yeah.
And of course, last but not least, we have Avery Cohen, played by Wise Papa Grant. Where can people find you when you are not trying to shoot crossbows?
Now, I'm just an old chunk of coal, but you can find me on the Twitters at Wise Papa Grant. I'm also the producer for WebDM's Twitch channel. I'm also launching a new platform called The Wonderful World of RPGs, which is all about highlighting artists, designers, and role players that are phenomenal, and helping get their work out there. I run a lot of Gumshoe games, so if you like this, check out some of my past APs with WebDM, and you can find us hunting vampires. With that said, Roll For It is an amazing channel that I absolutely love when I am graciously accepted to guest star on shows. So thank you so much for inviting me for this one. I also released a campaign setting. I think the last thing they're doing yesterday was adding the page numbers to the book, but it's like a 200-page fairy tale campaign setting for the 5th edition of the world's most
fun.
Dungeons and Dragons-y role-playing game. That's a good way to describe D&D. But it's cool. I spent many years working on it. It's my love letter to role-playing games. So
Beautiful. And of course, I am Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places, as that is my name. I do lots of things on the internet. I'm in a lot of tabletop games. If you're interested in checking those out, I always let you know on Twitter and Facebook whenever I'm going live. And my day job is making video games. So I work on a project called Ashes of Creation. If you want to check it out, you can check it out at Ashes of Creation as well. And we are going to record an after show, but before we do, we're going to take a little break. We won't have Trooper for our after show, unfortunately, but this after show is going to be live because it is our finale. So we will
Live
see
after
you.
show.
We'll see you all in a moment after we take a little break.
BRB.